the genius scientist of the Dragon King legend. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 Arena Battle. Everyone entered the competition arena, and each group had to choose one of Wu Changkang and Chen Yi as their opponent. Everyone's choice was different. At first, some people thought that Chen Yi was a girl and should be easier to deal with than Wu Changkang. Then they found that Chen Yi's methods were extremely cruel. After seeing the miserable state of the first batch of students, the second batch of students tried to choose Wu Changkang, hoping that Wu Changkang would be easier to deal with. Then they found that neither of them was a good thing. Many students who left the arena cast sad eyes at Jiang Xiaofeng, and the meaning of that look was self-evident. Brother, take care. Tang Wulin also came to Jiang Xiaofeng and asked, Xiaofeng, are you okay? Zhu Xiaowen and Zizi also came over. Boss, do you want us to help you consume Teacher Wu, so that you can relax later? Yeah. Zhu Xiaowen also nodded quickly. Obviously, she and Zizi had the same idea. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head gently. No, the initial form of the creation rider has nearly 900 forms, especially the best match. The best match has a power that cannot be measured by level. You made 900 sets of battle armor? Wu Sido, who was watching the show on the side, couldn't help but ask in surprise. Because of the saying that people who eat people are soft-hearted and people who take people's hands are short, Wu Sido's relationship with them is not so stiff now. Jiang Xiaofeng said helplessly, I've said it many times, it's not 900 sets, it's reshaped through nanotechnology, combined with the power of the energy bottle. That's it. Guyu echoed, and then he no longer cared about Wu Sido, who was angry on the side, but looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with an inquiring look. Do you want to use that form? This casual question immediately attracted a lot of gossip from Zizi and Zhu Xiaoyan, especially Zizi, who shouted, there is an affair, there is an affair, there is. Ouch. Before Zizi finished speaking, he was kicked in the stomach by Guyu. Zhu Xiaoyan looked at Zizi and said sarcastically with a smile, you are so rude. At this time, if someone carefully observed Guyu's face, they would find that Guyu's face was slightly red. Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but smile when he saw this, and then replied, it depends on the situation. I can't say for sure now. Soon, it was Guyu's turn to play. Jiang Xiaofeng made a cheering gesture to Guyu and the other two. Guyu smiled and walked onto the stage with Tang Wulin and Wu Siduo. This match ended very quickly, and it was even the shortest match in the class. Everyone used their ultimate skills once, and it was over. But this match was also the most embarrassing for Wu Changkang, especially Guyu. Everyone only saw Guyu throw a ball of water, and then the water went to nowhere, and then a small flame was thrown, and then it exploded. The explosion was so powerful that Wu Changkang's battle armor was blown out. What shocked everyone the most was that after the explosion, some charred marks appeared on Wu Changkang's battle armor. The first year students were all confused about all this. Only Jiang Xiaofeng knew what was going on. Jiang Xiaofeng's mouth twitched wildly. He suddenly felt that letting Guyu learn the periodic table might not be the right decision. Through the control of wind and water element, Guyu successfully made air and water vapor generate electricity through friction, and then the water ball was electrolyzed into hydrogen and oxygen. Then use wind element control to compress it, and finally use fire element to detonate it. The good Silver Dragon King element control seems to be used by Guyu in a strange place. At this time, Wu Changkang was looking at Guyu with surprise. What is the name of your move? Guyu lowered his head slightly and thought for a while. Electrolytic water explosion bomb. What a strange name. Wu Changkang seemed to mutter this sentence. You go down first. When leaving the stage, Guyu quietly made a plan to Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng just pretended not to see all this. Learning the periodic table should obviously be for better learning chemistry. Why did it become like this when it came to Guyu? After Guyu and the other two left the stage, it was Jiang Xiaofeng's turn. When Jiang Xiaofeng walked onto the stage, the creation rider driver was already on his waist. Rabbit tank best match. The joystick began to rotate, and the glass frame began to extend from the driver. Wu Changkang waved the Skyfrost sword in his hand, and a huge and solid ice wheel slashed towards Jiang Xiaofeng. The 5th soul skill, Frost Whisper Ice Wheel. However, this terrifyingly powerful ice wheel was easily blocked by the glass frame in front of Jiang Xiaofeng. Seeing this, Wu Changkang couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Obviously, the defense of this seemingly fragile frame was far beyond his imagination. Are you ready? Henshin Steel Moon Face Universe Anti-Rabbit Tank. Yeah, for most of the students, it was the first time they saw Jiang Xiaofeng's transformation in its entirety, and naturally they gathered together to discuss it. Wu Changkang held the Skyfrost sword in his hand, and released the 2-word battle armor, and almost instantly came to Jiang Xiaofeng. The Skyfrost sword slashed out with a white glow. The 1st soul skill, Frostmark. Jiang Xiaofeng was slightly startled, and quickly picked up the drill crusher to block in front of him. Frostmark slashed on the drill crusher, and the extreme sharpness made Jiang Xiaofeng slide back a few steps. Wu Changkang was not willing to give up, and the Skyfrost sword in his hand brought up Frostmark again, slashing at Jiang Xiaofeng in an interlaced manner. To deal with ice, use fire. The Phoenix energy bottle was inserted into the drill crusher. Ready, go, prepare, go. The drill crusher began to rotate at high speed, and violent flames also entangled with it. Jiang Xiaofeng held the drill crusher, and kept slashing at the swung Frostmark. The drill and the sword intersected, and the violent flames also constantly collided with the extreme coldness of ice. Fire and ice, the two have always been mutually restrained. Fire can melt ice, and ice can also extinguish fire. But now, whether ice is colder or fire is hotter, no student outside the arena can tell. They could only see that the entire ring was filled with water vapor. The Skyfrost sword with frost marks kept stabbing at Jiang Xiaofeng from various tricky angles, but each time it was accurately blocked by Jiang Xiaofeng. This surprised Wu Changkang. This kid, has his swordsmanship reached this level? The 3rd soul skill, Frost Slash. Vortex Break. A huge explosion sounded from the center of the ring, followed by a violent airflow. Some weaker students were even blown away by this airflow. At the same time, this airflow also blew away all the water vapor on the field. Wu Changkang did not move, while Jiang Xiaofeng staggered back to the edge of the ring. Obviously, in the previous competition, Jiang Xiaofeng fell behind. All the students were stunned. This was the first time they had seen such a violent battle. Both sides opened fire at full force, which made all the students watching excited. The Skyfrost sword stabbed out again, but Jiang Xiaofeng stomped his left foot on the ground. The spring on his left foot suddenly compressed and bounced up, driving Jiang Xiaofeng to do a somersault over Wu Changkang's head. Tora, Tiger, UFO, Unidentified Flying Object. Best match. Jiang Xiaofeng lay on the ground, grabbing the ground with his right hand with sharp claws, and then suddenly exerted force. The powerful force drove Jiang Xiaofeng to stab in front of Wu Changkang, leaving a deep claw mark on the ground. Unknown Jungle Hunter Tora UFO, Tiger UFO form. Yeah, Jiang Xiaofeng moved quickly beside Wu Changkang, and the claws on his right hand kept grabbing Wu Changkang. From time to time, a claw could leave a deep mark on Wu Changkang's battle armor. Wu Changkang did not defend in place all the time, but took advantage of the opportunity when Jiang Xiaofeng's attack ended to slash at Jiang Xiaofeng. A pink disc appeared in front of Jiang Xiaofeng without warning, and a pink light shot towards Wu Changkang from the disc. Faced with the unknown light, Wu Changkang stopped attacking, and dodged the attack by turning his body to the side. The light shone on the guardrail at the edge of the ring, and the guardrail shrank instantly, and was absorbed into the disc. The UFO energy bottle can shrink the enemy and recycle it. Rose Helicopter. Best match. Build up enthusiastic fan. Rose Copter. Yeah, several red vines flew towards Wu Changkang. Each vine had sharp thorns. The Xianxiang sword slashed continuously, cutting the vines one after another. When Wu Changkang came back to his senses and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng, the green propeller wings had already arrived in front of Wu Changkang. PS. Second update. Chapter 77. Opening the can. Suddenly, the green propeller wing hit the Xianxiang sword in Wu Changkang's hand at high speed, and the powerful force even made Wu Changkang's arm slightly numb. Ready, go. Prepare, go. The red rose vines began to wrap around the propeller wing, and the propeller wing began to rotate at high speed in Jiang Xiaofeng's hand, bringing up waves of rose petals, which looked very gorgeous. Vortex finish. Vortex finish. The propeller wrapped with rose vines began to twist towards Wu Changkang at high speed. Wu Changkang remained calm in the face of danger, and with a swipe of the Xianxiang sword in his hand, a shield made of condensed ice blocked Wu Changkang. The sixth soul skill, condensed frost. The propeller twisted on the shield at high speed, and the ice shield shattered, but it also completely blocked the attack. Huge aerojet best match. Huge waves rising to the sky. Huge aerojet, whale jet form. Yes, cannon. A small dark blue cannon appeared in Jiang Xiaofeng's hand. His finger gently swiped the touch area on the cannon and directly swiped to the red area at the back. Full load cannon. A large amount of water continued to converge at the muzzle. Seeing that enough water had gathered, Jiang Xiaofeng pulled the trigger. The violent water flow bombarded Wu Changkang like a cannonball. Wu Changkang pointed the Xianxiang sword forward, and the sixth soul ring flashed again. The surging water cannon instantly turned into an ice ball. Then, the third soul ring flashed, and the Xianxiang slash. The Xianxiang sword slashed forward fiercely, breaking the ice ball instantly. After breaking this attack, even Wu Changkang began to breathe slightly. Using the sixth and third soul skills in succession was also a big consumption for Wu Changkang. Panda Rocket best match. Is this what he looks like when he's at full power? Wu Sido asked Tang Wulin blankly. He switches his armored form every time he hits him, not giving his opponent a chance to get familiar with his abilities. In this case, the opponent has no way to find Jiang Xiaofeng's weaknesses. It can be said that Jiang Xiaofeng is the nightmare of all opponents of the same level or even higher. Yeah. Tang Wulin nodded affirmatively and said, the last time we fought, Xiaofeng didn't use his full strength at all. Because Xiaofeng's opponent this time is Teacher Wu, so he will use his full strength like this. Wu Sido subconsciously wanted to refute. How could she, who has always been proud, tolerate being defeated by a peer, especially when the opponent hasn't used his full strength yet? But seeing Jiang Xiaofeng constantly switching his form on the ring, Wu Sido had to swallow back the words she wanted to refute. The last time, it was not a simple let up, but a let up. The seventh soul ring flashed, and the Xianxiang sword in Wu Changkang's hand instantly became longer, and then shrank back to its normal size. However, compared with before, the Skyfrost sword in Wu Changkang's hand seemed even more chilling. The seventh soul skill, the martial soul true body. The most important difference between the Soul Saint and the Soul Emperor is the martial soul true body. Once the martial soul true body is used, the Soul Master will get a huge improvement in all aspects. Under normal circumstances, except for the cheating, no 6th-ring Soul Emperor will be the opponent of the 7-ring Soul Saint. Wu Changkang's Skyfrost Sword Martial Soul is a very high quality martial soul, and its martial soul true body is naturally more powerful than most martial soul true bodies. When using the martial soul true body, its combat power can soar by nearly double. The guardian of the Wan family Shikamid, deer pyramid form, Ye Jiang Xiaofeng waved his right hand, and a small pyramid enveloped Wu Changkang, but was cut open by Wu Changkang, who was walking slowly. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng was slightly startled, and then his left fist slammed heavily on the ground. Deer antlers protruded from the ground, spreading from Jiang Xiaofeng's left fist to Wu Changkang. Wu Changkang didn't even look at the antlers. He waved the Skyfrost sword casually, and a frost mark cut across the spreading antlers. Suddenly, all the antlers were cut off instantly. This is the power of the spirit body. If it was before, Wu Changkang wanted to break this attack, it would definitely not be so easy. At least he would need to use the 3rd spirit skill. In the state of the spirit body, Wu Changkang simply used the 1st spirit skill to break Jiang Xiaofeng's attack. The next moment, Wu Changkang moved and came in front of Jiang Xiaofeng in an instant. The Skyfrost sword gently slashed again, and another frost mark was cut out. It was not until this time that Jiang Xiaofeng reacted, which shows how fast Wu Changkang was in the spirit body state. At this time, the frost mark had already been cut on Jiang Xiaofeng's breastplate. In an instant, Jiang Xiaofeng's breastplate was sparking. Although the armor of the Knight system can withstand Wu Changkang's attack, it does not mean that Jiang Xiaofeng inside will not be hurt. The extremely penetrating force penetrated through the armor, causing Jiang Xiaofeng's chest to ache, but it was still within the tolerable range. Not to mention that Jiang Xiaofeng's danger level had reached level 3.5, and his physical strength had reached the level of a soul master with a relatively good body. But compared with the inhumane beatings that Kazushi had been giving him for several years, this pain was nothing. The battle continued, but Jiang Xiaofeng had completely switched from the original offensive to the defensive. Moreover, even if Jiang Xiaofeng had already switched to the defensive, the Skyfrost sword could still break through Jiang Xiaofeng's defense and slash at Jiang Xiaofeng. 6 huge lightsabers slashed at Jiang Xiaofeng's body, and this attack was more powerful than any of the previous ones. The 6th soul skill, Condensed Frost. This was a potential soul skill that could be used for both attack and defense. Jiang Xiaofeng, who was hit by all 6 lightsabers, fell heavily to the edge of the ring, and the alarm inside the Knight system began to sound wildly. It was indeed Wu Changkang. Jiang Xiaofeng sighed in his heart. If it was an ordinary soul saint, it might not be able to take his initial attack, and it would be impossible to force him to this state. Little did he know that Wu Changkang was even more shocked at this moment. Wu Changkang did not know the power of the 4-character battle armor for the time being, but he knew that if it was an ordinary 2-character battle armor, it might have been completely destroyed after experiencing such continuous attacks from him. However, the so-called Knight system made by Jiang Xiaofeng himself, after experiencing countless attacks from him, still did not leave a trace. How was this set of armor made? Just like this? Wu Changkang frowned and asked, in 3 years, you should have made greater progress. Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath, and slowly stood up from the ground. Of course not. Jiang Xiaofeng pulled the energy bottle off the driver. Since it's not, let me see that you haven't wasted these 3 years. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded gently, and then took out a can from behind. Hey, Guyu, do you know what the boss has in his hand? Zizi approached Guyu and asked quietly. Guyu said lightly, rabbit tank sparkling, bubble can. Then he stopped talking. Below the ring, other students who were watching were also talking about it. It was obvious that they were seeing the props in Jiang Xiaofeng's hands for the first time. Jiang Xiaofeng gently shook the bubble can in his hand, and a soda-like sound came out of it. Gently pulling the buckle, red and blue bubbles spurted out of the bubble can. The bubble can was suddenly inserted into the drive. Rabbit tank sparkling, rabbit tank sparkling. It was still the familiar standby sound, but in this familiar standby sound, it was constantly mixed with the sound of soda gushing out. This can also be inserted on it? Zizi looked at Guyu with a shocked face. Can't it only be inserted into the boss's bottles? In Zizi's understanding, the energy bottles used by Jiang Xiaofeng belonged to his martial soul after all. But now, a new device is inserted into the drive, and the nature has completely changed. Why not? Guyu still had that light tone, but Zizi was choked and speechless. A brand new pipe extended from the drive and quickly enveloped Jiang Xiaofeng. This time, Wu Changkang did not try to launch an attack. He knew that attacking at this time would only waste soul power, and would not have any effect. Are you ready? Build up, open the can. Suddenly rabbit tank sparkling, rabbit tank bubble form. Yeah, countless bubbles and water splashes exploded, forming a red, blue, and white mixed armor on Jiang Xiaofeng's body. The bubble form appeared in front of everyone for the first time. Chapter 78 Victory. Wu Changkang took another step, and the whole person disappeared almost instantly, leaving only a blue after image on the ring. Red and blue bubbles began to appear on Jiang Xiaofeng's body, and it also turned into a red after image. The figures of the two people fighting on the entire ring could no longer be seen. The students below the stage could only see a red or blue after image flashing from time to time on the ring. Shen Yi, who was also watching the battle, frowned. Although her cultivation was not as good as Wu Changkang, she was also a 6-ring Soul Emperor and a 2-character battle armor master. At this time, although she could not keep up with the battle between Jiang Xiaofeng and Wu Changkang, her eyes could still keep up. Although the two seemed to be tied, she always felt that something was wrong. As a control type soul master, the most important thing is the ability to perceive the situation on the battlefield. Shen Yui is undoubtedly an excellent control type soul master, and she is absolutely outstanding in insight. Wait. She suddenly discovered that every time Jiang Xiaofeng's attack fell on Wu Changkang's battle armor, Wu Changkang would clearly show a painful expression. When Wu Changkang's attack landed on Jiang Xiaofeng, although she couldn't see Jiang Xiaofeng's expression through the mask, she always felt that Jiang Xiaofeng didn't seem to be hurt much. Is it because Jiang Xiaofeng's armor has a higher defense? No. Even so, under the defense of the battle armor, Wu Changkang shouldn't be hurt so much. Especially when Jiang Xiaofeng's right foot kicked Wu Changkang's chest, along with the rotation of the tracks. Wu Changkang's battle armor defense was even more useless. Wait, it's that blue bubble. There's something wrong with that blue bubble. Shen Yi subconsciously wanted to remind Wu Changkang, but in the end, she still held back and didn't shout it out. She knew that with her senior brother's personality, if she reminded him now, he would definitely be very angry. After all, this is a violation of the rules of the game. Moreover, this blue bubble is everywhere. Even if Wu Changkang knew that there was something wrong with these bubbles, he couldn't do anything about them. Why did this Jiang Xiaofeng come up with this kind of thing? Shen Yi thought angrily in his heart. In fact, the red, blue, and white armor on Jiang Xiaofeng's body is not a simple decoration. Each color of armor has different properties. The red part of the armor can withstand various special attacks, such as Wu Changkang's sword intent, such as the coldness on the Xianshan sword. The blue part of the armor can absorb various impact damage, so that the recoil damage suffered by Jiang Xiaofeng in the armor is minimized. The white armor is more to protect the central function of the armor, and it also connects the armor of each part. Under this defense, it is difficult for Wu Changkang to cause effective damage to Jiang Xiaofeng. Wu Changkang's character battle armor is different. His battle armor's defense is not as good as the knight armor, and the blue bubbles also have the function of destroying internal functions. Although this blue bubble cannot directly destroy the soul guide array inside the battle armor, it is still okay to cause various effects from time to time. This caused Wu Changkang's battle armor to fail from time to time in the battle with Jiang Xiaofeng. Finally, the two figures that had disappeared on the ring for a long time appeared. However, Wu Changkang's condition was obviously weaker than Jiang Xiaofeng's. Jiang Xiaofeng stood steadily on the side, and there was still no trace of the armor on his body. Wu Changkang was constantly panting, and the originally gorgeous battle armor was also a little bumpy. The most terrifying thing was that the light that was originally on the battle armor flickered from time to time, as if there was a malfunction. The difference was immediately determined. Jiang Xiaofeng said somewhat embarrassedly, "Well, Teacher Wu, I will help you fix your battle armor after this." Jiang Xiaofeng probably had some impression of Wu Changkang's shining battle armor. It seemed to be in memory of his lover. Jiang Xiaofeng always felt a little sorry for being messed up by himself. Wu Changkang nodded lightly. Obviously, this set of battle armor had a special meaning to him. Otherwise, he would not accept the help of his students. "I admit defeat in this competition." Wu Changkang said this lightly, and then turned and walked off the ring. At this time, there was no need to continue the competition. Anyone could see that Wu Changkang had already lost. Shen Yi hurriedly said that the get out of class was over and hurriedly chased after him. However, no one saw that Wu Changkang, who was defeated by Jiang Xiaofeng, had a smile on his face after he walked off the stage. For a truly qualified teacher, there is nothing more joyful than a student surpassing the teacher. Even though Wu Changkang knew that he did not teach Jiang Xiaofeng much, Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Shen Yi, who hurriedly chased after him, and could not help but sigh slightly. Shen Yi was like, "The flowers have intentions, but the water is ruthless." If possible, he hoped that Wu Changkang and Shen Yi could be together. After all, his original lover, Longbing, could not be resurrected. From Jiang Xiaofeng's point of view, the dead are gone, so it is better to cherish the people around him. However, Jiang Xiaofeng also knew that he was not Wu Changkang after all, and had not really experienced what he had experienced, so he was not qualified to let Wu Changkang accept Shen Yi according to his own ideas. It was not until Shen Yi left completely that the students watching around the arena were completely furious. Jiang Xiaofeng slowly removed the bubblecon from the driver, and the armor also turned into red and blue bubbles and dissipated. As soon as he stepped off the stage, Zizi, Zhu Xiaoan and others quickly surrounded him. Damn. Boss, when did you make this thing? Zizi came over and took the bubblecon from Jiang Xiaofeng's hand and looked at it carefully. That's right. Captain, you are not nice enough to hide everything from us. Zhu Xiaoan echoed and said, and then he also came over to snatch the bubblecon from Zizi's hand to look at it. Tang Wulin joined the snatching team without saying a word. Although Wu Sido did not participate, her eyes were full of curiosity that could not be concealed. Jiang Xiaofeng was about to say something, but he saw Zhu Xiaoan and others looking at the bubble can over and over with a look of novelty. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng immediately realized that he didn't need to say anything anymore. Anyway, they wouldn't listen now. Sure enough, no matter which world, transformation has an irresistible temptation for men. This is true even for some girls. As time gradually approached noon, Jiang Xiaofeng and his group came to the cafeteria to eat as usual. Since Wu Sido's relationship with everyone was not as stiff as in the original book, she was also in this team. Since they had known each other for a relatively short time, Wu Sido had not yet fully integrated into this team. But if there were another dispute between the youth genius list and Jiang Xiaofeng's team similar to the original book, Wu Sido would stand firmly on Jiang Xiaofeng's team's side. This was not only because of strength and interests, but also because of Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin's sense of justice, Zizi's funniness, and Zhu Xiaoan's eccentricity, which gave her a different feeling. In her previous life, because of the twin martial souls, the fusion skills of the self-martial souls, and her beauty, no matter where Wu Sido went, she was surrounded by all kinds of flattery. However, after coming here, Jiang Xiaofeng first defeated her in the strength she was proud of. Then there was Gu Yu, who only had 3 rings, but also had a stronger strength than her. Next was Tang Wulin. After breaking through the 3rd ring, Tang Wulin began to possess a power that even Wu Sido, who used the evil-eyed white tiger martial spirit, could not match. In this team, Wu Sido found that she had no capital to be proud, and she had to temporarily put aside her pride. But after putting aside her pride, she began to have some different feelings about this team. Everyone was eating and chatting, when suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng's cell phone rang. Jiang Xiaofeng took out his cell phone and took a look. Wulin, do you have time in the afternoon? In the afternoon. Tang Wulin thought for a moment. After practicing fusion forging, there is nothing else to do. What's the matter? Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. That's perfect. After you finish practicing forging, come to the dormitory to find me. I'll take you to see something. You will definitely like it. Chapter 79 Battle Armor. I absolutely like it. What is that? Tang Wulin asked with a puzzled look. Not only Tang Wulin, but Zizi and others also looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with confusion. Obviously they didn't know what Jiang Xiaofeng was up to. Jiang Xiaofeng chuckled. It's boring to talk about it now. But Wulin, your forging speed is too slow. When it comes to forging, Tang Wulin immediately said unconvinced. My forging speed is already fast enough. Okay. 3 pieces of spiritual alloy a day. Do you think the speed is slow? Slow. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded seriously. As long as you can't keep up with my battle armor manufacturing speed, it's slow. Tang Wulin immediately wilted. This guy's manufacturing speed is simply terrifying. It feels like, as long as the rare metals can keep up, this guy can manufacture all the battle armors in the class in one day. That's right, even the boss's manufacturing speed can't keep up. Zizi said, watching the fun. Tang Wulin said unhappily, wait until you become a level 5 mecha maker before you talk about me. Someone who barely reached level 4 with Xiaofeng's tutoring has no right to talk about me. Just as Zizi was about to say something, Zhu Xiaoan continued to add, that's right, who passed the level 4 assessment of mecha designers, didn't say anything, and you, who passed the assessment by luck, dare to jump out? Zizi finally shouted in grief and anger, I want to break off my friendship with you. Looking at the happy crowd, Wu Sido couldn't help but curl up the corners of her mouth. This feeling was not bad. At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng was concentrating on installing tiny parts on a button-like object. The Tang sect's training room uses a super large soul guide formation to speed up the time inside the training room, thus achieving a 12-fold acceleration. That is, if 12 hours pass in the training room, only 1 hour will pass in the outside world. But if this range can be reduced to just enough to cover one person, then fighting in an accelerated state becomes possible. However, reducing the range does not mean compressing the soul guide formation. On the contrary, it requires a larger soul guide formation. But in this case, the device loses its function. What I need is a portable device. So, I need to combine these more complex soul guide formations with nanotechnology to compress these things into a portable device. PS. The scope of nanotechnology is relatively broad, and anything that acts on a single atom is called nanotechnology. But considering the energy consumption and the damage caused by the time difference in various aspects, therefore, it is best to use it in conjunction with armor. The battle armor is designed with an arc reactor that uses cold nuclear fusion as its main power source, which can bear its energy consumption. At the same time, the battle armor can also provide comprehensive protection against damage caused by acceleration. Jiang Xiaofeng carefully installed the last tiny part, and a layer of white shell slowly covered it. This shell uses the same material as the white part of the bubble armor, which can protect the internal machinery very well. But it is not yet finished. Jiang Xiaofeng sat on the computer chair and gently kicked his feet beside the table. The computer chair instantly took Jiang Xiaofeng to the computer on the side. Jiang Xiaofeng turned on the computer and quickly pressed a few keys on the keyboard. I saw a glass cover slowly rising from the ground next to the wall. Inside the glass cover was a golden, technological armor. The glass cover slowly opened, and a mechanical arm gently picked up the button-shaped object that Jiang Xiaofeng had just made, and took it to the waist of the armor. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly operated on the computer, and saw that the metal at the waist of the armor began to change like liquid. Soon, a groove appeared that could just hold this button-like object. The mechanical arm slowly put the button into the groove, and the two fit together perfectly. Well, everything seems to be normal at the moment. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the various data analyzers on the computer, and said to himself, then, let's try running it, and test the safety. Jiang Xiaofeng typed 20x on the computer, and pressed the enter key. The armor began to move on its own, seemingly without any hindrance. It seems that there is no problem with 20 times acceleration. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the computer and said thoughtfully, then, let's try the maximum power and 60 times acceleration directly. The armor moved again, and this time, the armor's movement speed was several times faster than before. Armor moves at the fastest speed. Jiang Xiaofeng gave the order again. This time, Jiang Xiaofeng did not increase the power of the acceleration system, but the speed of the armor itself. Looking at the values fed back on the computer, Jiang Xiaofeng said thoughtfully, at the extreme speed, the load is a bit too much for ordinary people. However, considering that the user is Tang Wulin, this load seems to be nothing at all. Thinking of Tang Wulin's abnormal physique, Jiang Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. So, this is considered a successful research and development? In fact, Jiang Xiaofeng's goal is that ordinary people can also use this set of, barely considered a battle armor without load. The arc reactor is in a dormant state most of the time. Usually, only 0.5% of the power is turned on, which can make up for Tang Wulin's lack of soul power. The intelligent control system is used to make up for the lack of mental power. The full power state will only be turned on in an emergency, so as to supply the consumption of all functions of the battle armor. At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng's dormitory door was knocked. It looks like Tang Wulin is here. Jiang Xiaofeng walked over and opened the dormitory door and saw that it was Tang Wulin standing at the door. Tang Wulin walked in curiously, hoping to find what Jiang Xiaofeng called good stuff. As soon as he looked around, Tang Wulin's eyes were attracted by a set of golden armor covering the whole body. What is this? This set of armor covers the whole body, including the face, which is completely covered by armor. The shape of the whole set of armor is also designed based on the dragon prototype. Coupled with a full sense of technology, it can be said that it perfectly hits Tang Wulin's aesthetics. Go and try your battle armor. I remember that you should drip blood to recognize the master. Although I don't know the principle, this is a combination of soul guide battle armor and physical technology. Dripping blood to recognize the master should also be effective. Jiang Xiaofeng said, cutting off the connection between the main control system and the battle armor. In short, Jiang Xiaofeng no longer has the control authority of this battle armor. Tang Wulin couldn't wait to drip drops of blood on the battle armor, and the golden battle armor instantly emitted a red gold light. Jiang Xiaofeng turned and leaned towards the light, and the red gold light instantly enveloped Tang Wulin's whole body. Tang Wulin felt a tingling sensation all over his body, and his soul power and blood power were being consumed crazily. Along with the consumption of soul power and blood power, the red gold light was constantly merging into Tang Wulin's body. However, just as the red gold light merged into the chest, Tang Wulin felt that his soul power was almost completely consumed. Is this a failure of fusion? Tang Wulin thought subconsciously. Suddenly, a ball of blue light lit up on Tang Wulin's chest, and an unknown energy replaced the consumption of soul power. What kind of energy is this? Seeing this scene, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. It seems to be successful. The energy generated by the nuclear reactor was successfully converted into soul power, taking over Tang Wulin's place to complete the fusion of the battle armor. Sure enough, I'm really a genius. I can think of using this method to solve the problem of insufficient soul power. Only I can successfully integrate the reactor into Tang Wulin's body in the form of a battle armor. Of course, there is no need to worry about the explosion of this reactor. Not to mention that it is usually in a dormant state. Even when it is running, it is a cold nuclear fusion reaction. That is, the reaction is carried out at room temperature. If it is destroyed during operation, the reactor will at most stop running, and there is no possibility of explosion. Don't you see that Tony Stark has a reactor on his chest every day, and there is no problem? If there is any problem, it is because of the use of palladium. This reactor does not need to absorb shrapnel, so palladium is not needed. Chapter 80 Clock Up. Tang Wulin felt the power coming from his body. This feeling was very strange. Although his soul power was completely consumed, he didn't feel his body was hollowed out at all. Hurry up and recover your soul power, and then try to see how it works. Jiang Xiaofeng urged him. To be honest, this was the first time Jiang Xiaofeng tried armor with a battle armor as the main body. Although he was 100% sure that he could succeed, he still wanted to see what the actual effect was. Without Jiang Xiaofeng's urging, Tang Wulin sat down on the spot and began to recover his soul power. Jiang Xiaofeng wanted to know the effect, and he also wanted to know how effective his battle armor was. When Tang Wulin recovered his soul power, the reactor in his chest was also running at ultra low power, with an operating power of less than 1/10,000th. This was another idea of Jiang Xiaofeng. If the recovery of soul power is to absorb the free energy between heaven and earth, then can this energy be converted into energy through the reactor to assist the recovery of soul power? Facts have proved that Jiang Xiaofeng succeeded again. To be precise, Jiang Xiaofeng knew that it could succeed because he had experimented on himself once. After all, Jiang Xiaofeng still had a little bit of soul power. Although he almost got into trouble because he turned up the power a little, he was able to escape danger in the end. It was also through that experiment that Jiang Xiaofeng finally determined that this idea was feasible. However, it could only be used to assist recovery, not cultivation. Cultivation requires the so-called heaven and earth elemental forces of different attributes, and Jiang Xiaofeng is not able to transform them all. Even if he managed to do it, it would destroy a person's foundation. Jiang Xiaofeng remembered that someone in the original book had proposed this idea, but the title Daolo created in that way might not even be able to beat a 5-ring Soul King. Jiang Xiaofeng would not use such a thing on his friends. After about 10 minutes, Tang Wulin stood up from the ground. Feeling the soul power that had been fully restored, Tang Wulin asked in confusion. This time, the soul power recovered so quickly. Is it the effect of the battle armor? Of course. Jiang Xiaofeng said with a smug look on his face. Don't you see who I am? I am Kamidada. Ahahaha. Tang Wulin completely ignored Jiang Xiaofeng, who was acting silly on the side, and began to experiment on his own. First of all, the comprehensive strength in all aspects. After several experiments, Tang Wulin judged that with the increase in this set of battle armor, his strength should be equivalent to the level of Soul King or Soul Emperor without battle armor. Since Tang Wulin has not really fought with people of this level, he is not sure how it is. In short, with the increase in the battle armor, his soul skills and blood soul skills have been greatly improved. Then next, try the golden dragon claws. Normally, the hand armor of this set of battle armor just covers Tang Wulin's hands. Once the golden dragon claws are used, his palms will inevitably become larger, and the hand armor will not be able to accommodate Tang Wulin's golden dragon claws. But Tang Wulin believed that Jiang Xiaofeng would not fail to consider this problem. The golden dragon claw began to release slowly, and the gauntlet was like liquid, constantly changing with the appearance of the golden dragon claw. Finally, the golden dragon claw was fully released, and the appearance of the gauntlet also changed dramatically. Tang Wulin felt that in this state, the power of the golden dragon claw was greatly enhanced, and the crushing characteristics were also enhanced. Then, try the golden dragon claw again. That's right, even though there were many special situations in the middle, Tang Wulin still got the hand bone of the dark gold claw bear on the spirit ascension platform, just like the son of destiny. In this world, Tang Wulin is the son of destiny. It seems that there is really no problem. Wait a minute, don't experiment with the golden dragon claw in the dormitory. Jiang Xiaofeng, who was acting stupid, finally came to his senses and hurriedly stopped Tang Wulin's behavior. Tang Wulin reacted and smiled awkwardly. Am I not too happy? The power of the golden dragon claw is relatively large, and it is estimated that with the increase of the battle armor, the power will become even greater. Moreover, looking at this posture, who knows what strange things Jiang Xiaofeng has added in it. Experimenting in the dormitory might be demolished. Before testing, you should inject some blood and ki into this thing. Jiang Xiaofeng handed a device to Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin was slightly stunned, but did not think much about it. Jiang Xiaofeng would not harm him anyway. Then he pressed his palm tightly on this strange device, and the blood and ki began to be continuously injected. Jiang Xiaofeng hurriedly sat in front of the computer and operated it quickly. After a while, Jiang Xiaofeng sighed. It's not working yet? Forget it. What were you doing just now? Tang Wulin asked curiously. Nothing. Let's test the golden dragon claw now. Jiang Xiaofeng took Tang Wulin to a training ground. On one side of the training ground, there was a thick alloy steel plate. Prepare the golden dragon claw. Jiang Xiaofeng reminded him, and Tang Wulin immediately began to release the golden dragon claw. A faint dark golden light began to appear at the fingertips of the golden dragon claw, and the hand armor began to change again like liquid, especially the armor at the fingertips, which seemed to be preparing for the release of the golden dragon claw. With one swing of the claw, the alloy steel plate was neatly cut into 6 sections like tofu, and then turned into pieces. P.S. Crushing special effects. Tang Wulin was shocked. As a forger, he could naturally see the hardness of this alloy steel plate at a glance. With the strength of the golden dragon claw, although it could scratch a huge scratch, it would definitely not be able to cut it off so easily. Before he could think too much, Jiang Xiaofeng's voice rang in his ears. Your golden dragon claw actually converts your soul power into special attributes before releasing it. Although it does greatly increase the power of your golden dragon claw, it also causes a great waste of soul power. And this set of battle armor can concentrate the soul power you release and vibrate it at a super high frequency. It greatly improves the cutting ability of your golden dragon claw. Tang Wulin nodded thoughtfully. Although he didn't understand a word, he was shocked. As he said, Jiang Xiaofeng came to the side of the training ground and pressed a button. Try to avoid these marbles. I saw marbles constantly shooting from the walls on all sides. Tang Wulin dodged hurriedly, but was still hit by some of the marbles. After all, Tang Wulin is a strong attack control system soul master. Although this control system has some water, it has nothing to do with agility attack anyway. Compared with dodging, he is better at head-on confrontation. Jiang Xiaofeng shouted again. Do you see the white button on your left waist? Press it. Tang Wulin quickly looked at his left waist and saw a button-like button quietly embedded in the battle armor. Seeing this, Tang Wulin no longer hesitated and decisively pressed the button on his waist. Clock up. Tang Wulin was shocked to see that with the pressing of this button, the speed of the marbles shot from all directions was instantly slowed down by dozens of times. It was as if he pressed the slow play button. No, not only these marbles slowed down. Tang Wulin picked up a broken steel plate from the ground and then gently let go of it in the air and saw that the steel plate fell down at an extremely slow speed. Tang Wulin pressed the button on his waist again. Clock over. The speed of all objects instantly returned to normal. Tang Wulin was stunned in place, allowing the marbles from all directions to bounce on him. Even if Tang Wulin didn't understand soul guides, he could understand the meaning of this thing. The acceleration system can speed you up 60 times in battle. In this state, you don't have to worry about not being able to control your speed, because in your eyes, the world has slowed down 60 times. Jiang Xiaofeng said proudly, "I have studied this thing for 3 years and finally developed it thoroughly." Tang Wulin swallowed his saliva. Then, what are the limitations of this thing? Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a while. Well, it consumes a lot of energy, and using it for too long may cause a burden on the body. But I have solved it, so don't worry. What else can Tang Wulin say about this? I can only say that Jiang Xiaofeng is awesome. He can even make this thing. I would like to state that the protagonist's clock up simply uses the sound effects of the armor and has nothing to do with the technology of the protozoa. The protagonist's clock up can only accelerate 60 times at most, while the armor can accelerate to sublight speed in normal state, and 555 can accelerate to 1000 times. Chapter 81 Completion. 2 new transfer students are joining our class. This one is Yi Xinglan, a powerful attack type combat soul master. The other one is Zulizki, a food type weapon soul master. Welcome everyone. Applause broke out in the class immediately, and discussions were heard from the back of the classroom. No, why are there more transfer students? Could he be as tough as the class monitor? Oh my god, no way. If there are 2 more, what are we going to do? I have a hearsay. Recently a lot of people have come out from the inner courtyard. It seems that it is because of some inner courtyard reform. The class monitor seems to have come out from the inner courtyard. Damn, do you mean these 2 are also tough guys? I think so. Let's go to bed early. There is nothing for us to do in this class. Shen Yi looked at the seats in the classroom. You guys go sit in the back. There are no seats in the front. Our competition with the 2nd grade is about to begin, and I hope you will actively participate. After that, Shen Yi left the class. Zulizki smiled and greeted Jiang Xiaofeng and the others. Yi Xinglan also nodded to them as a greeting. Damn, they know each other. They are really from the inner courtyard. How can the 2nd grade fight? Yeah, it should be. I heard that the standard for the 6th grade is to have a complete 1-word battle armor. With this calculation, we can beat the outer courtyard. Hiss, so terrifying. I'm curious, can this competition really go on? After all, if it really starts, it will be a crushing defeat. Who knows? It depends on the arrangement of the college. Let's discuss whether this competition between the 1st and 2nd grades will be held. How to hold it. Mr. K, who was sitting in the 1st seat, looked at the grade directors below with a serious face. I think it should be held. After all, this is the tradition of Shrek. It can't be changed at will. A grade director said. Another grade director immediately questioned. Then how should this competition be fought? Let the sophomores be crushed by the freshmen? And then the freshmen kill their way through? What's the point of this competition? It may also affect the confidence of the senior students. Then limit the strength of the 1st years. For example, the class monitor is not allowed to fight or something like that. Wu Changkan shook his head. That's not appropriate. Believe me, with Jiang Xiaofeng here, the combat effectiveness of all their members will be greatly improved. What's more, if the 1st years can't go all out, this competition will be meaningless. Then what do you say we should do? This won't work, and that won't work. It's better not to fight this competition. Yeah, I think so too. This competition has no meaning anymore. On the contrary, forcing it to be held may waste the students' practice time. That makes sense. That makes sense. Mr. K listened to the discussion below and coughed slightly. Suddenly, the whole venue fell silent. Since many people think that the competition is unnecessary, said Elder K slowly, then, let's start voting now. If more than 60% of people agree, the competition will be cancelled. Raise your hands if you agree to cancel the competition. As soon as this was said, more than 80% of the grade directors and deputy directors raised their hands. At this point, there was no need to continue the vote, but the procedures had to be completed. In the end, more than 80% of the people agreed to cancel the competition, and the remaining 20% of people just felt that this was the tradition of Shrek Academy, and it had to be held, even if it was just a formality. Elder K finally decided to cancel the promotion competition for this term, and give the time to the students to study freely. However, the difficulty of the final exam will be increased at the same time. Wulin, you have a battle armor amplification. Why is your forging speed still so slow? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Tang Wulin, who was forging in the forging room, with disgust. In response, Tang Wulin said nothing. Anyway, he couldn't argue with him, so he just buried his head and forged. Finally, a golden light several feet high rose. Thousands of forgings. Spiritual alloy. Yes, this last piece is done. Tang Wulin put down the forging hammer and said with a long breath. At this point, all the spiritual alloys needed for the battle armor of several people were forged. Jiang Xiaofeng stood up from his chair, stretched his waist and said, "Okay, leave it to me next." At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone suddenly rang. He turned on the phone and saw a call notification on the phone. "Hello. Done. Can we start?" "Okay, I'll be there right away." After hanging up the phone, Jiang Xiaofeng hurriedly said to Tang Wulin, "Leave this piece of metal here first. I have something to do now." "Sio." After saying that, Jiang Xiaofeng hurriedly ran out of the forging room, leaving Tang Wulin dumbfounded. As soon as he left the gate of Shrek Academy, Jiang Xiaofeng rode on the mechanical creator and drove to a place at a high speed. About 5 minutes later, a large factory appeared in front of Jiang Xiaofeng. The walls of the factory were extremely clean, and it was obvious that it had been built recently. Next to the factory, there are also facilities such as a canteen. The greening in the factory is also very complete and looks very pleasing to the eye. Unlike other factories, this factory is not filled with soul guide arrays. It cannot be said that there are none. Compared with other factories, the soul guide arrays in the factory in front of Jiang Xiaofeng are much less, and there are many more mechanized structures. In fact, there is nothing that can be done. The construction team cannot complete the mechanical structures and core parts. Even if the drawings are shown to them directly, they cannot understand them. In desperation, Jiang Xiaofeng had to replace the core parts with soul guide arrays. At the gate of the factory, there was a man standing there quietly. Seeing Jiang Xiaofeng coming, he hurried to greet him. "Hello." Jiang Xiaofeng was the first to say hello. What Jiang Xiaofeng didn't expect was that just such a casual greeting made the person in front of Jiang Xiaofeng flattered, and kept saying, "You're welcome, you're welcome." "Okay, stop." Jiang Xiaofeng said helplessly. "You must be Yu Baosheng, master Yu. Have all the equipment I want been installed?" Yu Baosheng was still a little flattered and said, "Don't worry, they are all installed. The 2,000 employees you recruited have also been trained according to your requirements and can be put into work at any time." Jiang Xiaofeng could probably guess what was going on with Yu Baosheng's reaction. In this Daoluo continent, the class division is still relatively strict. Because of the emergence of soul guides, the status of low-level soul masters has declined. But Jiang Xiaofeng is a student of Shrek, and the word low-level is absolutely impossible to be used for Jiang Xiaofeng in the concept of other people. And Yu Baosheng in front of him is a second-ring great soul master and a second-level soul guide. This identity is very noble in the eyes of ordinary people, but Yu Baosheng knows that a great soul master in his 40s is nothing in the eyes of Shrek students. Therefore, he was flattered by Jiang Xiaofeng's unintentional easygoing behavior. "Okay, take me to see. If you can meet the requirements, I will pay you the balance on the spot." "Okay." Yu Baosheng took Jiang Xiaofeng to the factory to watch. The facilities inside the factory were well built. At least Jiang Xiaofeng didn't see any problems. In fact, if Jiang Xiaofeng didn't see any problems, it meant that there was absolutely no problem. After checking the facilities in the factory, Jiang Xiaofeng randomly called hundreds of people to try the assembly line operation. It turned out that this group of people mastered it very well and could actually operate it. Of course, Jiang Xiaofeng himself designed these devices to be simple and easy to use, and there are many intelligent components. The only difficulty is that the operation needs to be repeated. In the process of repetitive operation, it is easy to make mistakes due to fatigue. Therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng trained 2,000 employees, each working half a day, taking turns. After the acceptance, Jiang Xiaofeng took out his mobile phone and operated it a few times. Then a voice came from Yu Baosheng's mobile phone. Alipay has arrived. 3 million federal coins. The balance has been paid to you. Please confirm it. Jiang Xiaofeng put away his phone and said. Yu Baosheng saw the balance displayed on his phone and said with gratitude, thank you, thank you. That's it for today. I have something else to deal with. I'll find you if I have anything else in the future. Okay, then I'll leave first. You go ahead. Well, goodbye. Jiang Xiaofeng finally saw Yu Baosheng off and breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he really couldn't stand others talking to him respectfully, making him feel like an oppressor. It was obviously an equal transaction, right? Then the next step was to officially start up the car factory. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Allegiance. Please gather all employees at the conference hall. A loud voice spread throughout the factory through the radio. Thousands of employees in the factory knew that this voice came from a mysterious boss they had never met. They didn't know much about this boss, only that he was a student from Shrek Academy and his credibility should be guaranteed. And most importantly, this mysterious boss provided them, a group of ordinary people, with a job with a good salary. On the Daolo continent, even if it is just the lowest level workers, those with soul power are given priority. Even if these people are not soul masters, but only have a few levels of soul power, these few levels of soul power will make this group of people have stronger physical strength than ordinary people. In this case, unless the family has some connections, ordinary people can only live at the bottom. The work that Jiang Xiaofeng provided them was not particularly hard, and the salary was 2,000 federal coins a month, which was simply pie in the sky. P.S. Tang Wulin was once a second level forger, which is a medium level income. He earned 30,000 federal coins in 3 years. According to this ratio, 2,000 federal coins should be a considerable income. Souls and the like are really just toys for the rich. Soon, all the employees gathered in the meeting room, and they all looked at the child who looked only 12 years old on the stage with curiosity. However, none of them dared to look down on this child who looked only 12 years old. Jiang Xiaofeng coughed lightly and began his first speech as entrepreneurship. First of all, I'm very happy to be able to gather with you in our big family of Nanba Heavy Industries. Let's talk about the various rules and regulations of our Nanba Heavy Industries. No absence without reason is allowed. If there are special circumstances, you can apply for vacation. Let's work hard for the future of Nanba Heavy Industries. Everything is for Nanba Heavy Industries. At the end of the speech, Jiang Xiaofeng shouted loudly. Immediately, all the employees in the factory raised their arms and shouted, everything is for Nanba Heavy Industries. Although Jiang Xiaofeng's words were simple, they gave them hope for those who had no soul power. Each of them is struggling for the most basic life, but if someone can give them hope, even if it is just a glimmer of illusory hope, these people will be willing to work for him. What's more, Jiang Xiaofeng did not give illusory hope. So, this voice, everything is for Nanba Heavy Industries. It was shouted from the bottom of their hearts. After the speech, everyone began to cheer continuously, because from today, their new life is about to begin. Especially the man named Wu Ziming standing in the front. He was so moved that he almost burst into tears at this moment. Since the day his martial soul awakened, he has been ridiculed. Without soul power, only a Kane martial soul, it can be said to be useless. Once upon a time, this Kane martial soul was Wu Ziming's only hope. He hoped countless times that he could have even a trace of soul power to practice. But now, he suddenly has an urge to break this crutch. Even if there is no martial soul, what does it matter? From today on, I will swear allegiance to him. Thinking of this, Wu Ziming summoned the Kane martial spirit in front of everyone's surprised eyes and broke it with his knee. Back in the academy, Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly lay down on the bed. A lot of things happened today. Although I was not very tired, I still wanted to have a good rest. Starting tomorrow, this Nanba heavy industry can start formal operation. During the previous training process, Yu Baosheng also selected the team leaders of each group so that the team members can coordinate effectively. I don't know how the confrontation competition in the original book will be held, but I'm not afraid. In 2 days at most, Jiang Xiaofeng can complete the design of the battle armor of the whole team. At that time, he can also design a mecha or battle armor for the whole class and charge for it. It doesn't have to be too good because they can't make it themselves. And this kind of thing doesn't take too much time for Jiang Xiaofeng. 3 minutes is enough to design one. Alas, many things are not convenient to carry out. Jiang Xiaofeng thought in his heart that he was still too weak, so he could only do some things that would not solve the problem. For example, in the factory that Jiang Xiaofeng has opened now, he can recruit 10,000 or 100,000 ordinary people as employees. But there are hundreds of millions of ordinary people in the entire Daoluo continent. Even if ordinary people have any good ways to get rich, they may suffer a catastrophe because they do not have enough strength. The relationship between humans and soul beasts is the same. Although Jiang Xiaofeng has planted a seed in many people's hearts, it is not known whether it can germinate. But even if it germinates successfully, many people want to coexist peacefully with soul beasts. But the soul beasts do not have this idea. They just want revenge and want to kill all humans, which is not easy to deal with. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng picked up his mobile phone and sent a text message to Guyu. "Are you there?" After the message was sent, Jiang Xiaofeng was about to put down the phone when he received a reply from Guyu. "Are you there? What's wrong? Good guy, what is Guyu doing, replying so quickly?" After thinking about it, Jiang Xiaofeng typed, "You said, if I want to talk to Dishan, an equal conversation, what kind of conditions should be met?" At this time, Guyu sat up from the bed in surprise, and his fingers quickly tapped on the phone. "What do you want to do with Dishan? Don't go now. If you go now, even I can't protect you." Jiang Xiaofeng smiled softly, and it can be seen that Guyu is concerned about him. He continued to type, "It's okay, I just ask, what kind of strength is needed?" Guyu replied without hesitation, "At least the strength of the extreme Daoluo is required. If you don't reach the strength of the extreme Daoluo, don't go." Jiang Xiaofeng put down his phone and thought, extreme Daoluo. Double rabbits and double tanks can reach this level. With the increase in the danger level, it is not impossible to reach the so-called god level. However, the double rabbit and double tank form is not something Jiang Xiaofeng can control now. The combination of two identical ingredients will not only put pressure on the energy bottle carrying the ingredients, but also cause a huge burden to the user. The most important thing is that, if the danger level is not enough, even if two identical ingredients are used for combination, the brain will still be out of control due to the power of the dangerous trigger. In terms of the body, if the danger level reaches 4.0 or above, it can bear its load more easily. But mentally, it must reach the danger level 4.5 to maintain rationality with the assistance of the double rabbit double tank form. In this Daoluo continent, if you lose control when using the dangerous trigger, it will really bring a huge disaster, irrationally destroying everything in front of you. And you also have the strength of the ultimate Daoluo level. This destructive power is no less than a human-shaped nuclear bomb. The Kamen Rider in the special effects drama does not seem to have much destructive power, but that is just due to the constraints of funds. In fact, with several tons of destructive power, a building will collapse after a few hits. And this is just the power of the basic form. In the out-of-control state, without any power blessing, the power of a punch is 20 to 30 tons. Once the power of the energy bottle is used for blessing, it is normal to increase the power by 4 or 5 times. Several tons of power can destroy a building, and tens of tons of power can be imagined. The same is true for other knights. The simplest punch of the ultimate Kyuga can hit 100 tons of power, and then with the ultimate power blessing, the power must be increased by 7 or 8 times. Once such power is out of control, it will definitely be a catastrophe. It is still necessary to increase the danger level as soon as possible. Jiang Xiaofeng thought about it, but this was very contradictory. How can the danger level be increased quickly? The answer is external pressure. Under the pressure of General Yi, it took Zenta less than a year to increase the danger level from 3 to 7. Simply put, it means wandering around. But being too wandering can easily lead to accidents. Is generally strong? Absolutely strong. One of the ceilings of the villain's combat power, and in the end he was killed because he was too wandering. Jiang Xiaofeng's current strength is not considered strong. If he is too wandering, he will definitely die. Hey, what is this? Jiang Xiaofeng picked up the phone and took a look, and then his face began to become solemn. Has it started? Jiang Xiaofeng opened the chat window with Guyu again. Are you there? Do you want to do something with me during the holidays? Chapter 83 Preparation. Soon, Guyu replied to Jiang Xiaofeng with only one word. Okay. He did not ask what it was. In this case, we need to make more preparations. Jiang Xiaofeng got up from the bed, and after hesitating for a long time, he finally removed a metal plate from Pandora's box. The spiritual pagoda summoned a large number of researchers from various places, as if they were going to conduct some kind of potion research. Although Jiang Xiaofeng could not remember the specific situation, he knew that the day the potion research was completed was the day these researchers died. Jiang Xiaofeng remembered that in the original timeline, Tang Wulin's adoptive parents also died in this experiment. It seemed that they were rescued by Tang San, and there was no explanation afterwards. However, because of Jiang Xiaofeng's interference, Tang Wulin's adoptive parents are still alive and well, but others are not so lucky. If Jiang Xiaofeng didn't know this, there would be nothing he could do. But now that he knew these things, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't sit idly by. He remembered that in the original timeline, Tang Wulin's adoptive parents were cursed. Even the Holy Spirit Daoluo Yali couldn't save them. She could only delay them for a while. In this way, even if Jiang Xiaofeng successfully rescued them, they would still die. Therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng must be fully prepared. Jiang Xiaofeng knew that there was an energy bottle that could definitely break the curse on them. Although he couldn't use it now, because the danger level was far from enough, it was still okay to simply use its purification ability. But this was not safe. According to the information Jiang Xiaofeng had intercepted, the 3 batches of researchers they captured were detained in 3 places. Daoluo, Xiandao, Xingluo, one in each of the 3 continents. Xiandao continent had the weakest defense, but even so, there was a title Daoluo in it. On the Daoluo continent, which had the strongest defense, there was even a super Daoluo. If you don't prepare well, it's easy to die during the rescue process. Jiang Xiaofeng also considered whether the Holy Spirit Church would directly kill the researchers in the other 2 places after he saved the researcher in one place. After all, the people in the Holy Spirit Church are well-deserved lunatics. After comprehensive consideration, Jiang Xiaofeng thought it would not happen. Although the Holy Spirit Church is crazy, their madness is reflected in the means to achieve their goals. For the current Holy Spirit Church, between killing and developing medicines, the development of medicines is obviously more important. If the evil soul master who cast the curse kills other scientific researchers without authorization, then other high-ranking officials of the Holy Spirit Church may make him live a life worse than death, because he ruined the plan of the Holy Spirit Church. But there is another difficulty. Even if the Holy Spirit Church will not kill the researchers in the other 2 places, it is still okay to kill the scientific researchers who have been confirmed to be discovered. No matter how fast Jiang Xiaofeng's purification speed is, it will take time after all. But the blood demon Daoluo can kill them all in an instant. This means that Jiang Xiaofeng can only save 2 or 3 people at most, and the rest will die under the curse of the blood demon Daoluo. This is obviously not something Jiang Xiaofeng can accept. Perhaps, Yali can be asked for help? Anyway, I still need to make some more plans. But now, I'll go to sleep. The competition is cancelled? What's going on? There was a sound of astonishment in the class, and even Jiang Xiaofeng was a little surprised. but you don't have to be happy too soon. Shen Yi said coldly, your final exams will become more difficult. Moreover, you can't help each other in the final exams. This time, you can only rely on yourself for the final exam. The class instantly exploded. It is well known that the assessment of Shrek Academy is difficult. There were already many people in the class who couldn't pass it. Now the difficulty has increased. Is this going to make people live? Jiang Xiaofeng raised his hand. Teacher? Go ahead. Shen Yi gestured. Jiang Xiaofeng stood up and said, Teacher, can we conduct a graded assessment? Class members are divided into several levels according to their comprehensive strength. The assessment of strong students will be relatively difficult, and the assessment of weak students will be less difficult. The gap in strength of our class is too big, so it is not suitable for a unified assessment. Just when everyone thought that Shen Yi would severely reprimand Jiang Xiaofeng, Shen Yi showed a thoughtful look and then said, it can be considered. In fact, the top leaders of the outer courtyard are worried about the assessment, not just the first grade. Because of the sudden reform of the inner courtyard, the strength of students in many grades has a huge gap. This phenomenon is most serious in the first and sixth grades. The quality of the battle armor of many inner courtyard students is much higher than that of the outer courtyard, which leads to a big difference in strength between the transfer students from the inner courtyard and the original students. It can be said that the outer courtyard was caught off guard by this reform of the inner courtyard, and the idea proposed by Jiang Xiaofeng is definitely a good suggestion. In fact, in the original timeline, the assessment of the 6th grade adopted this assessment method, but this method was not proposed so quickly. And because the gap in strength of the 1st grade is not that big, the original assessment method is still adopted. Now, because of Jiang Xiaofeng's appearance, the 1st grade has also seen this kind of strength gap. Therefore, the assessment method will naturally change. Then, get out of class is dismissed. Stand up. Goodbye, teacher. After dinner, Jiang Xiaofeng went straight to Poseidon Island. This time when he went to Poseidon Island, Jiang Xiaofeng had two things to do, and he needed to find Naya and Yali respectively. Soon, Jiang Xiaofeng found Naya, who was practicing shooting in a forest. This time, as soon as Jiang Xiaofeng walked over, Nana turned her head and looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with a smile on her face. It's okay, Nana, your mental power has become stronger again. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Nana in surprise and said. Hearing Jiang Xiaofeng's praise, Nana immediately said with a proud face, of course, I'm very powerful. Seeing Nana's proud look, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but put his hand on Nana's head and messed up her hair. Nana looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with resentment on her face. By the way, brother, what are you doing here now? Nana knew that if Jiang Xiaofeng just came to see her, he would usually come to see her at night. And now that he came in the afternoon, it was obviously something more important. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded and said, well, lend me your dragon energy bottle, I need to make something. Nana didn't have too many concerns and handed the dragon energy bottle to Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng put away the energy bottle in his hand, then looked at the wooden house beside him and asked, is Aunt Yali here? I have something to ask her. As soon as Jiang Xiaofeng finished speaking, Yali's voice came from the wooden house. I'm here, come in. Jiang Xiaofeng and Nana looked at each other and then walked into the wooden house together. At this time, Yali was sitting leisurely on a chair, tending to a little bad standing on her finger. When she saw Jiang Xiaofeng coming in, Yali gently waved her hand, and the little bad immediately flew from her hand to the shelf beside her. What's the matter? Yali asked softly. Jiang Xiaofeng asked seriously, Aunt Yali, have you ever heard of the blood demon curse? Hearing the word blood demon curse, Yali immediately asked seriously, blood demon curse? Where did you hear this name? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head gently, it doesn't matter where I heard it. What's important is, if you are asked to suppress dozens of people who are cursed by the blood demon curse at the same time, how long can you suppress them? Yali answered irrelevantly, it's unnecessary. The blood demon Daoluo has been killed by Yun, and the blood demon curse can no longer exist in this world. No, he is still alive. Jiang Xiaofeng said solemnly. Yali was slightly stunned, and then said decisively, it's impossible. Yun and I personally confirmed that he is definitely dead. There is no chance of resurrection. Jiang Xiaofeng handed over the phone. Aunt Yali, please listen to this audio. Some people say that I'm a sloppy writer. Let me explain here that this cannot be called sloppy writing. This is called slowing down the pace. Can writing novels be called sloppy writing? Chapter 84. My name is Wang Xiaochu. Yali picked up the phone and put it to her ear and listened carefully. It was a recording of a call, and it was only a very short recording. But even such a short recording made Yali frown. Old demon, the blood essence of these people has been sent to you. You must curse them well. This is related to our 1000-year plan. You must not be careless. Humph, you know the power of my blood demon curse. As long as there is a drop of blood essence, even Yali can't save people from me. That's not what I'm worried about. I know the power of your blood demon curse. You can curse these people, but don't do anything extra. If it delays the development of the medicine, you know the consequences. I know. You have told me so many times. The audio ended here, but Yali's gloomy brows could not be relaxed. As an old rival for many years, she could certainly tell who the voice came from. Where did you get this audio? Yali asked seriously. The matter was of great importance, and she had to confirm the authenticity of this audio. This is a piece of call information that I accidentally intercepted when I was trying to find traces of the Holy Spirit Church on the internet. Jiang Xiaofeng said. Although it is a bit troublesome to crack an independent network, Jiang Xiaofeng is not unable to do it. Moreover, since this world seems to have never seen a truly top-level hacker, their awareness of protecting the network is not that strong. However, Jiang Xiaofeng did not say all of this, but just said that he accidentally intercepted it. This makes sense logically. With the scientific research ability that Jiang Xiaofeng has now demonstrated, it would be abnormal if he could not intercept other people's call information. And Yali also nodded, without much doubt. Not to mention Jiang Xiaofeng, even the hackers of the Tang sect may be able to intercept a small piece of call information from the top of the spirit transmission tower. I found that the Holy Spirit Church seems to have some collusion with the Spirit Pagoda, but I haven't found any evidence. The Tang sect should have planted some spies inside the Spirit Pagoda. They should be able to find some unusual movements in the Spirit Pagoda branch in the northwest part of Daoluo continent. Let them investigate carefully. Yali pondered for a moment. Okay, I'll go and take a look in a while. Seeing that Yali believed what she said, Jiang Xiaofeng nodded and said, in that case, I'll take my leave first. Okay. As she said that, Yali watched Jiang Xiaofeng and Nana walk out of the door. She flashed and disappeared on the spot. When she appeared again, she had come to Yunming. Yun, something big has happened. The Holy Spirit Church seems to be planning something. Moreover, they may be cooperating with the Spirit Pagoda. Yali said anxiously, and then told Yunming everything that Jiang Xiaofeng said. Yunming listened to what Yali said with a serious face. I'll go to the Tang sect now to see if I can find any clues. Dormitory of the outer courtyard. Countless data cables connected a metal plate, and Jiang Xiaofeng kept typing on the computer. Finally, Jiang Xiaofeng pressed the enter key. The metal plate standing on the side began to fold continuously, forming a block-shaped object. Jiang Xiaofeng then took out all 60 energy bottles on his body and inserted them into the prepared slots one by one. Then, Jiang Xiaofeng took out the bubble can again and inserted it into a slot. P.S. According to the setting, the genius form not only has the power of 60 energy bottles, but also the bubble form, the ability of double rabbits and double tanks. My name is Wang Xiaochu, and I'm a spy sent by the Tang sect to the Spirit Pagoda. I have been lurking in the Spirit Pagoda since I was 15 years old, starting as an ordinary staff member of the branch. The Spirit Pagoda where I'm now is a 7-story branch tower, which belongs to the medium-level branch. In these years, the Tang sect rarely contacted me, so I worked here seriously. Later, I was appreciated by my superiors, and my position began to rise little by little. Because of an accident, I saved the daughter of the branch tower master of the Spirit Pagoda. Then, the master of the branch of the Spirit Pagoda saw that I was a good-looking person and decisively began to promote me. However, although the Spirit Pagoda gave me all kinds of generous treatment, my heart still belongs to the Tang sect. Whether it is power, From today on, Wang Xiaochu is the successor of the northwest branch of the Spirit Pagoda. After I step down, he will be the next branch master. Or beauty, brother Xiaochu, I want to go out and play today. That's right, this white, rich and beautiful woman who is clinging to me is the daughter of the branch master of this Spirit Pagoda. Since she was rescued by me that time, she fell in love with me at first sight. However, these can't tempt me. My heart is always in the Tang sect. Now, the Tang sect has finally contacted me again. They ask me if there was anything unusual about the branch of the Spirit Pagoda in the northwest area. Humph, no one knows the several Spirit Pagodas in this area better than me. Recently, a small Spirit Pagoda was suddenly required by the upper level to no longer be managed by my father-in-law, and a large number of soul masters were sent to garrison there. Our northwest region is originally a desolate area, and the place where the heavy troops are stationed is the most desolate area in the northwest. This is too obvious, isn't it? Even a fool knows that there is a problem. Hey, it seems that only my father-in-law and I know about this matter. Even my girlfriend doesn't know? Forget it, let's pass this information back first. What are you doing? A roar sounded. I never expected that my father-in-law didn't notice what I did. What he saw was his daughter who was about to sneak attack me. At the same time, he announced his retirement. I became the master of this branch tower of the Spirit Transmission Tower. At the same time, his daughter and I finally got married. It's gratifying and congratulatory. The news has been confirmed. There are unusual movements in the Spirit Pagoda in the northwest of Daoluo continent. The most desolate place is suddenly heavily guarded. It is obvious that there is something wrong. Strange. What's wrong? How could such confidential information be obtained so easily by our spies? Is it a trick? I don't know about this. TSK, what position does our spy hold in the Spirit Pagoda now? Let me see. Report. The information has just been updated. He is now the head of the northwest branch of the Spirit Pagoda. He has taken office and seems to be appreciated by the higher level Spirit Pagoda. His future is limitless. Poseidon Pavilion. The Poseidon Pavilion is usually very peaceful. Even if a Poseidon Pavilion meeting is held, it is held in an orderly manner. But now, there is a quarrel in the Poseidon Pavilion. So, should we send a few elders to rescue them? No. Once we send out people at the elder level, it would be equivalent to Shrek directly declaring war with the Spirit Pagoda. Then what do you say we should do? How about sending students there? Bullshit, we don't even know who is guarding there. If you send students there, aren't you sending them to their deaths? By then, not only will the people not be rescued, but our students will also die in there. I think it would be better for us old guys to go. At worst, we can just go to war. The Spirit Pagoda can't beat our Shrek Academy anyway. But what about after they're rescued? They're under a blood curse, and we have no way to break it. They'll die even if we rescue them. According to you, then we won't rescue those people. Even if we can't rescue them, it's better than letting them die in there. You know the methods of the Holy Spirit Church. If they really die in there, their souls will continue to suffer after death. Besides, even if we don't consider saving people, it's definitely worth it to smash the Holy Spirit Church's conspiracy. I'll go. The door of Poseidon Pavilion was suddenly opened. I'm sure I can get out of there safely, and I'm also sure I can break the bloody curse. But I need the full cooperation of His Majesty the Holy Spirit, because breaking the curse takes time, so His Majesty needs to do his best to help me delay time. Chapter 85 Action. This final exam is divided into 3 echelons. The first echelon, Jiang Xiaofeng, Gu Yu. The second echelon, Tang Wulin, Wu Sido, Yi Xinglan, Zulizki. The rest are the third echelon. The assessment of the first echelon is kept secret for the time being. The assessment content of the second echelon is, within 15 days, pass through at least 15 cities, and in each city, defeat a one-word battle armor master. The assessment content of the third echelon is, within 15 days, pass through at least 10 cities, and in each city, defeat an opponent with a cultivation level of more than 5 levels higher than yours. During the exam, all the people in the second and third echelons, except for their clothes, will leave everything behind and leave the house. Jiang Xiaofeng, Gu Yu. Shen Yi paused here. It's up to you. 3 days later. A boy and a girl walked down from the Soul Guide train. Unlike the neat Soul Guide stations that we usually see, this Soul Guide station can be said to be dirty, messy, and poor. Is this the old Xinjiang? There is a reason why the Spirit Transfer Tower and the Holy Spirit Church chose this place to conduct experiments. The woman said thoughtfully. Okay, stop sighing. Check if you have all the equipment. Especially the smoke gun. It is absolutely the most important. Our operation this time depends on it. Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu were the ones who got off the Soul Guide train. Guyu still had some impression of the smoke gun. In the future she saw before, this gun seemed to be called a divine weapon by Tang San. But now it seems that this is indeed a divine weapon with an unsolvable escape level. If she had this gun back then, she would not have suffered such a heavy blow. After leaving the Soul Guide station, Jiang Xiaofeng said, "Let me explain our plan again. I will hack into their Soul Guide system so that we have the right to enter the laboratory. But please note that this right only applies to the machine. To other personnel, we are strangers. If we are noticed by other personnel, we may be exposed in advance. After sneaking into the laboratory, I will first create the illusion that the laboratory's surveillance is broken, so as to buy us as much time as possible. You use the smoke gun to transfer all these researchers away. I have set the transmission position of the smoke gun on the Sea God Island. You just need to keep shooting. But you must move quickly, because it can only transfer 3 people at a time. I don't know how long this will last. You may be discovered when you transfer the first person. If this happens, then I will try my best to stop the people from the Holy Spirit Church and the Spirit Transmission Tower. Then, get ready. Build change." A motorcycle appeared in front of them. Jiang Xiaofeng stepped onto the mechanical creator and put on the helmet on the motorcycle. Guyu sat on the back seat. With the roar of the engine, the mechanical creator sped away. About an hour later, a small tower with only 3 floors appeared in the field of vision of their telescope. Jiang Xiaofeng also stopped the motorcycle. Okay, a little further ahead, we will enter the monitoring area of the Spirit Transmission Tower. It looks empty here, but in fact, it is full of various monitoring devices installed by the Spirit Transmission Tower. Jiang Xiaofeng handed Guyu a pair of glasses. Guyu took the glasses and put them on. Looking through the glasses, the land in front of them was full of red light circles. After entering this light circle, we will be monitored by the Spirit Transmission Tower immediately. Because this place is rarely visited, few people come here to buy souls. Even if you really just come here to buy souls, there will be someone following you throughout the journey to prevent you from seeing anything you shouldn't see. Jiang Xiaofeng explained on the side. Let's go. We need to walk for the next few dozen kilometers. Although the bracelets we wear can avoid the detection of these instruments, the noise of the mechanical creator is too loud. If we go directly like this, we will still be discovered. Jiang Xiaofeng put away the motorcycle. Although the remaining road is long, there is nothing we can do about it. Fortunately, Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu are not ordinary people. They will not feel tired, even if they walk for hours. Report to the captain. A young man suddenly shouted. A middle-aged man came over and said, "What's the matter? Captain, look here." The young man pointed to the screen and said. In the center of the screen, there was a faint footprint. The young man continued, "This footprint has not always been in this place, but just suddenly appeared in this place. Look." As he said, the young man operated on the keyboard a few times, and the surveillance screen was adjusted to a few minutes ago. Suddenly, a footprint appeared on the empty ground without any warning, which was creepy. Looking at this picture, the middle-aged man fell into deep thought. Such a weird appearance. Could it be that the big guys who come from time to time? Well, it should be. Those big guys have weirder personalities than each other, and it is common for them to do strange things. Moreover, every time he saw those people, he had a creepy feeling. This footprint that appeared without warning is really in line with their appearance. Okay, your observation is very careful, which is worthy of praise. But you have to know that, even if we see some things, we have to pretend not to see them. The middle-aged man said earnestly, otherwise, one mistake will bring us fatal disasters. Remember? The young man nodded and said, I see. Thank you for reminding me, Captain. Well, tell the patrol outside to bring some people back, so as not to die in vain. After the middle-aged man gave the order, he cursed and said, "Those big guys are more bloodthirsty than each other. They just find a reason to kill us at the bottom, and the key is that we don't show up. This life is unbearable." Strange, why did their patrols go back? Guyu, who was hiding behind the tree, asked in confusion. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head. "I don't know, I'm also watching what's going on. But we must be prepared to be exposed." As he said, Jiang Xiaofeng kept tapping the screen of his mobile phone and began to invade the network system of the spirit transmission tower in front of him. After a while, the corners of Jiang Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. "Well, Guyu, we are indeed exposed." Jiang Xiaofeng just said this. Guyu's face suddenly changed, and he quickly took out the smoke gun and prepared to escape. Wait. Jiang Xiaofeng hurriedly stopped Guyu and then continued, "But they thought we were the top leaders of the Holy Spirit Church," and then withdrew a large number of patrol personnel, saying that they were to prevent these patrol personnel from being killed in vain. Guyu put away the smoke gun and asked with a slight smile, "So, is this a blessing in disguise for us?" "It should be." Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. "Okay, there is no one at the door now. Let's go in quickly." As he said, Jiang Xiaofeng walked to the door and swiped his ID card on it. With a beep, the door opened, and Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu immediately entered the spirit transmission tower. "See, I said they were big shots over there, otherwise this door would let him in directly. This shows that they have a legitimate identity," the middle-aged man said in high spirits. And his men looked at the middle-aged man with admiration, saying that the captain was very good at predicting things. Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu entered the basement almost unimpeded, and then continued to hide. If the ground is under the control of the spiritual transmission tower, then the underground can be said to be under the control of the evil spirit master. If Jiang Xiaofeng and his friends were still so reckless after coming here, they would really die without knowing where they died. According to the information obtained by Jiang Xiaofeng, there is a super downlow level evil spirit master in this place. This is not something that Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu can deal with now. Fortunately, Guyu has a unique way of hiding and used his mental power to deceive the perception of the super downlow. It can only be said that he is worthy of being a former god level. Chapter 86 Serial Killings. Finally, they entered the laboratory without any danger. In this basement, controlled by the evil soul master, Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu were cautious in every step. Unlike normal soul masters, evil soul masters are extremely suspicious. Even if there is a slight flaw, it may arouse their suspicion. After temporarily hacking the laboratory's surveillance, Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu also entered the laboratory through their ID cards. Everyone in the laboratory was still busy, and they were not surprised at the arrival of Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu. Obviously, some strangers appeared in this laboratory from time to time, which was already a common thing for these researchers. Jiang Xiaofeng coughed a few times, attracting everyone's attention. "Everyone who can appear here must not be stupid. You should have felt that this experiment was very wrong when you came." Everyone did not speak, but looked at Jiang Xiaofeng quietly. It is impossible for the researchers who can be selected by the spiritual tower and appear here to have low IQ. If it were not for the pressure of life, they would not even appear here. And now, they all keenly noticed that the strangers who appeared this time were a little different from before. "I'm a student from Shrek Academy. If you are willing to believe me, I can save you. Believe me, if you continue to stay here, your final outcome will only be death." After saying that, Jiang Xiaofeng quietly waited for their opinions. He knew that everyone present was not a fool, and they could determine the truth of Jiang Xiaofeng's words with a little thought. Finally, one of them said, "Then, how are you going to take us away? There are so many of us, and you two can't take us out alone." "It's okay, we have our own way." Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly, and then said seriously, "But there are risks. You are cursed, and I dare not guarantee that I can save all of you. But what I can be sure of is that, if you stay here, even after death, your soul will not rest in peace." One of them pondered for a while and said, "Okay, I'm willing to give it a try. I agree." "I agree too." Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Guyu and said, "Guyu, let's start." Yu nodded, then took out the smoke gun, pointed it at the 3 people in front, and pulled the trigger. A puff of smoke blew out of the muzzle, covering the 3 people in front of him. When the smoke dissipated, the 3 people in front of him also disappeared. At this moment, the alarm sounded loudly. The alarm sounded throughout the spiritual transmission tower. As the danger level increased, Jiang Xiaofeng already had good hearing. He could hear countless footsteps rushing towards this laboratory. Yu, I'll go hold them first. You move faster. Henshin suddenly opened the can. Rabbit tank sparkling. Rabbit tank bubble form. Yeah, drill crusher and 4 grid ninja sword dual wielding. Jiang Xiaofeng rushed towards the nearly 100 evil soul masters who rushed over quickly. Among this group of evil soul masters, there are more than half of the soul kings and soul emperors, dozens of soul saints, and a dozen soul Daoloists. Although, maybe it's because the Holy Spirit Church is relatively poor, their battle armors are all very shabby, and the soul saints are still wearing one-word battle armors. Even among the soul Daoloists, only one person has a 2-word battle armor. But even so, they also brought great pressure to Jiang Xiaofeng. The drill bit rotated at high speed, and the blade also brought up fierce flames. The knife and the drill bit kept slashing at the skulls, vines and claws flying in all directions. Jiang Xiaofeng knew that he could not hold on for long with his own strength alone. There were too many people on the other side, and each of them had good strength. Suddenly, dark purple vines appeared on the armor, tightly wrapping Jiang Xiaofeng. These vines were extremely tough, and even the impact of blue bubbles could not make them break instantly. This won't work. Jiang Xiaofeng thought secretly in his heart, and then took out the bubble can with some difficulty. Build up fiery can opening Phoenix robot sparkling. Phoenix robot bubble form. Yeah, the bursting flames ignited from his body, instantly burning the vines on his body to ashes. Jiang Xiaofeng was just about to continue fighting. Suddenly, a darkness descended, completely covering him. Puff. Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. He looked around, and all the people who were shrouded in darkness, including the evil soul master who was fighting with him just now, all died in an instant. There was silence all around, and the whole world seemed to have turned into a blood-red ocean. Is this the domain? Oh. A creepy voice came. You are still alive. You have some skills. However, what your companions are doing now is useless after all. What? Jiang Xiaofeng pretended to be surprised and said, of course he knew what the man in front of him meant. But what Jiang Xiaofeng had to do now was to delay time. As expected, just as Jiang Xiaofeng expected, the man in front of him said proudly, you probably don't know yet, they have been cursed by Lord Blood Demon. The moment they go out, it's the moment they die. You. Ha ha ha, ah ha ha ha. That's the expression. I just want to see your expression. He laughed wildly, although I can't see your expression now. But I know that the expression under your mask must be full of anger. Suddenly, his wild laughter stopped. Then, die. With a slight stretch of his fingers, the blood instantly condensed into countless spikes, stabbing at Jiang Xiaofeng. Ha! Jiang Xiaofeng kept turning the joystick, and the spikes formed by the blood did not cause any harm to him. Ready go Jiang Xiaofeng stretched out a huge mechanical arm and clamped the super Daoluo in front of him tightly. A raging fire ignited on his body, and he flew over like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Phoenix energy bottle. Invincible. Sparkling finish the super Daoluo who was burned by the flames cursed in pain. Damn it. The 6th soul skill. Black core pulse. From behind him, 2 dark red lights shot towards Jiang Xiaofeng. Jiang Xiaofeng turned the joystick again, and the red flames ignited again. At the same time, his physical strength was rapidly decreasing. Ready go 2 dark red lights bombarded Jiang Xiaofeng, but still had no effect. Sparkling finish fuck, what's going on? The super Daoluo who was hit again cursed in his heart, martial soul true body. I saw that his body suddenly became a little bigger, and his momentum also soared. 8th soul skill, evil hard soul. The blood and water combined into a huge sickle in his hand. This blood-colored sickle looked particularly strange in this dark red world. Just looking at it made people feel extremely depressed. In this regard, Jiang Xiaofeng had only one way to deal with it. Ready go, prepare, go. Lightning flashed on the armor, and Jiang Xiaofeng's body began to show fine wounds under the armor. The more powerful form, the greater the burden of the special move. Sparkling finish. Sparkling finish. The blood-colored sickle shattered when it passed through the flames, and the phoenix made of flames swooped down towards the super Daoluo with an unstoppable momentum. Ah! The evil soul master screamed, and it was a big burden for him to be hit by 3 special moves in a row. What's going on? The attack has no effect at all. Fuck, come again. The 9th soul skill, Comet Magic Light. The 9th soul ring flashed, and then split into 2, and flew behind him. The dark purple light began to accumulate in it. After being compressed to the extreme, the dark purple light turned into 2 beams and shot towards Jiang Xiaofeng. At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng in the mask kept panting. He couldn't tell where the sweat was, and where the blood was on his head. The continuous use of special moves brought a huge burden to Jiang Xiaofeng's body. Even a body with a danger level of 3.5 could not bear such a load. Jiang Xiaofeng trembled as he gripped the joystick again. Ready, go. The flames burned again. Although it looked like it would go out at any time, it was still burning tenaciously. The phoenix rose into the sky again, swooping down towards the terrified evil spirit master with a purple beam of light. A huge flame exploded, covering Jiang Xiaofeng and the evil spirit master, and illuminating the entire blood red area. The blood red area was shattered. Jiang Xiaofeng's armor had been removed at some point, and the evil spirit master's right hand tightly grasped his neck, slowly lifting Jiang Xiaofeng up. What do you think? Will the final boss choose Glizer, or Dracian, Gatangia, and Perla, Grimmed, or who else? Chapter 87 The End of Element. I see. No wonder my attack has no effect on you. Similar to the invincible effect, the evil soul master began to slowly exert force on Jiang Xiaofeng's neck, and this made Jiang Xiaofeng's breathing more and more difficult. However, this move doesn't seem to be able to be used often. Don't worry, I won't let you die. The evil soul master leaned close to Jiang Xiaofeng's ear and whispered, you hurt me so many times, how could I let you die like this? Ready, go, ha. Why is it coming again? A blood-colored sickle condensed in his hand in an instant, and swung in the direction of the sound. However, it didn't hit anything. Element finish. Kamen Rider Oboro can transform into an element when using the ultimate move, which can avoid most attacks and greatly increase the power of the ultimate move. At this time, she only has one target to attack. Ah, my hand. The evil soul master covered his empty right arm in pain, and a piece of charred white bones was exposed at the broken end. Jiang Xiaofeng also fell to the ground and kept coughing. Guyu landed gently beside Jiang Xiaofeng. Everyone has been sent away, let's go. With a flick of the smoke gun, a puff of smoke enveloped Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu. The evil soul master rushed over in pain, trying to stop Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu, but only hit a cloud of mist that had already dissipated. Damn it. The evil soul master roared. Next time we meet, I will definitely kill you. Yali's forehead was already covered with sweat. It was also a huge burden for Yali to suppress more than 100 blood demons and curses at the same time. Yali, Yunming, you Shrek are really good at transferring people to Poseidon Island. We, the Holy Spirit Church, really underestimated you. However, even if it is you, don't think of saving people from me. Yunming looked at the people whose vitality was constantly dissipating, and said with a gloomy face, Blood Demon, I don't know how you survived. But if I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time, even if I have to chase you to the ends of the earth. Humph, let's talk about it, when you can find us. A cloud of smoke appeared on Poseidon Island again. Guyu helped Jiang Xiaofeng, who was covered in blood, out of the smoke. Her eyes were full of heartache at this moment. Jiang Xiaofeng took a deep breath, and sat on the ground, and then took out a large energy bottle with yellow and blue stripes from behind. Looking at this energy bottle, Guyu's pupils shrank suddenly. It's this energy bottle. This is the genius energy bottle. Jiang Xiaofeng took a breath and continued, do me a favor, Guyu. Press the mouth of this bottle on these cursed people, and their curse can be lifted. Guyu took the energy bottle, and after confirming Jiang Xiaofeng's physical condition, he said, okay. The mouth of the genius energy bottle was pressed on a person who was being eroded by the curse, and the colorful light slowly flowed from the mouth of the bottle, and then gradually covered his whole body. Under the infusion of this colorful light, the bloody ghost face on his forehead became lighter and lighter, and finally, it shattered. It's really solved. Yali looked at the genius energy bottle in Guyu's hand with a shocked face. As a healing super Daoluo, no one knows better than her how tricky the blood devil curse is. But such a tricky blood devil curse was broken without any resistance under the power of this genius energy bottle. Yunming also looked at this genius energy bottle with a serious face. He is a long-known extreme Daoluo on the Daoluo continent and the most powerful extreme Daoluo. With the increase of the 4-character battle armor, he can even touch the realm of God. It seems that someone can tie with him? In short, as a quasi-god level, Yunming can naturally see many things that Yali can't see. He vaguely realized that this so-called genius energy bottle seemed to have a more powerful power in silence. It seemed to be a power far beyond the ordinary god level. Who can break my blood demon curse? A figure who looked neither human nor ghost suddenly opened his eyes and then closed his eyes again. In this case, I can't hold back. Not good. Guyu, move faster. Yali suddenly widened her eyes and then shouted angrily, suppress. Behind Yali, a huge 8-winged angel appeared. The halo continued to emanate from the 8 wings. But under the full force of the blood demon Daoluo, even Yali could only slightly slow down the speed of their life passing. Guyu instantly released the battle armor made by Jiang Xiaofeng, and then tapped his waist lightly. Clock up 60 times acceleration. Open. The energy of the genius energy bottle was continuously injected into one person after another, and one bloody ghost face after another was shattered. But among the people present, no one showed a relaxed expression. Because there were too many people. The complexion of the people who had not been rescued was getting worse and worse, and blood was constantly gushing out of their 7 orifices, which looked extremely terrifying. Even if Guyu tried his best to speed up, less than 50% of the people were rescued. Finally, the first person to die appeared. A faint blood-colored light and shadow floated from his body and slowly drifted away. The others also fainted due to excessive blood loss. Yunming pulled out the sky-lifting spear and stabbed the light and shadow in the air. The light and shadow in the air exploded instantly, turning into blood-colored mist and dissipating with the wind. This is his cursed soul. If left alone, this soul will eventually fly into the hands of the blood demon Daoluo. Once the soul falls into the hands of the Holy Spirit Church, its fate can be imagined. And now, the only thing Yunming can do is to let it dissipate normally between heaven and earth. This ending is not good, but it is better than being worse than death in the hands of the Holy Spirit Church. Soon, another blood-red light and shadow floated up, and Yunming stabbed out again, and the soul dissipated with it. There is no reincarnation on the Daoluo continent. If you insist on saying there is, it is that the soul dissipates between heaven and earth and turns into ether particles again. After that, the ether particles turn into new life, which is the reincarnation on the Daoluo continent. More and more souls float up, which also means that more and more lives are passing away. The sky-lifting spear in Yunming's hand also keeps stabbing out, dispersing one soul after another. Looking at all this in front of him, Jiang Xiaofeng closed his eyes in pain. Maybe he has tried his best, but Jiang Xiaofeng can't convince himself with this reason. In the end, 120 researchers, 88 survived and 32 died. This casualty ratio sounds good, but Jiang Xiaofeng can't be happy. Perhaps, if the plan was more perfect, more people could be saved. Yali walked over gently and said apologetically, sorry, kid. The problem is with me. If my cultivation could be higher, I could. Guyu walked over and interrupted Yali. No, the problem is with me. If I acted faster, I could save more people. It's okay. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head and said. He knew that both Guyu and Yali wanted to comfort himself. I just feel a little uncomfortable for a while. I will be fine in a few days. At this point, Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Guyu and smiled somewhat reluctantly. Don't worry, I won't be depressed because of this kind of thing. After all, the agreement between you and I has not been fulfilled, right? Guyu smiled softly, as if he thought of something. Yeah. That's right, my blood demon curse has been cracked, and with those people here, our plan may have been exposed. Why not take advantage of now, to get rid of the remaining people? Because our plan may have been exposed, we need to complete it, as soon as possible at all costs. Compared with the Millennium Plan of our Holy Spirit Church, all risks are worth it. I won't bother with you about those people before, but as for the remaining people, you are not allowed to touch any of them. Do you understand? Yes, his tone sounded extremely unwilling. You have to know that once our plan is completed, the Tang sect, Shrek, and the spiritual pagoda will all be ants. Therefore, no matter how big the risk, or how high the cost is, it is worth it. Compared with becoming a god, what we have now is nothing. Do you understand? Yes. Chapter 88 Winter Vacation. The results of this final exam are announced below. Jiang Xiaofeng and Gu Yu, 150 points each. Tang Wulin, Wu Sido, Zuliski, and Yi Xinglan, 110 points each. Zizi and Zhu Xiaoan exceeded the assessment task and are awarded an extra 5 points. Shen Yi kept reading out everyone's test scores and explained the reasons why each person received extra points. Under the care of the genius bottle, Jiang Xiaofeng's body recovered quickly. At the same time, his danger level also soared from 3.5 to 3.7. Sure enough, only under strong pressure can the danger level be increased rapidly. If he met the super Daoluo from the previous 2 days, Jiang Xiaofeng felt that he should be able to hold on for a while longer and at least get 3 more kills. Unfortunately, this method is not suitable for frequent play, and it is easy to die. Does the danger level of the battle rabbit increase quickly? It is fast, and the only disadvantage is that the earth will be gone if you are not careful. You are very lucky for this final exam. The whole class passed and no one was eliminated. But the difficulty of the final exam next semester will be further increased. Also, those who have not yet completed the measure, better hurry up. Shen Yi said indifferently, okay, I declare that the winter vacation officially begins. School is over. Seeing that the classmates in the class all had a sad expression, Jiang Xiaofeng thought about it and shouted in the class, starting from next semester, whether it is a battle armor or a mecha that needs to be designed, you can ask me for help and I will charge you half price. Great. Cheers rang out in the class. You can also ask me for forging. Tang Wulin also said, it will also be half price. Great. Speaking of which, Tang Wulin and his classmates' assessment was not easy, especially Tang Wulin. Although his battle armor has more superior performance than other one-word battle armors, Tang Wulin's cultivation still restricts him. Fortunately, Tang Wulin won all the battles without any danger. But there were some minor problems in the middle. Every time Tang Wulin took the soul train to the next city, the soul train would have accidents due to various accidents. What evil soul masters, what terrorists, what train failures, everything. The invigilators in the dark were stunned. As for Wu Sido, she was really invincible. For in cultivation, dual form battle armor, acceleration system. These equipment made her almost invincible when fighting against a one-word battle armor master. Even if she occasionally encountered a 6-ring one-word battle armor master. P.S. The poorer ones who had no money to make 2-word battle armor masters, she could use the power of her own martial soul fusion skills to defeat the opponent. Moreover, when Wu Sido used her own martial soul fusion skills, the third hidden form of the battle armor would be triggered, which multiplied the power of the nether white tiger. Zhu Xiaoan followed Jiang Xiaofeng's advice and went to the Shandong Xingkang Soul Master Academy. Jiang Xiaofeng specifically told Zhu Xiaoan before the assessment began that he must go to this academy. Even if it costs a certain price, he must practice under the observatory of this academy. The effect was also significant. Zhu Xiaoan's martial soul successfully mutated or evolved. However, Jiang Xiaofeng didn't know what was going on. Zhu Xiaoan's martial soul did not become a simple star staff as in the original timeline. Instead, it changed from one martial soul to 2 martial souls, a star staff and an ice staff. The star staff, like the original timeline, showed super control ability. But this ice staff, I feel a little tasteless, and its attack power is no different from that of an ordinary ice staff. I can only take it one step at a time. Zizi's performance in this final exam should be considered above average. At least it is much better than that of the students in the same batch. Otherwise he would not have gotten the 5 extra points, but his current strength is still a little weak. I don't know what happened to his 2 daggers. How did they become the dragon of time and space in the end? Forget it, let's take it one step at a time. In short, the wonderful holiday life has finally begun. Well, although this so-called holiday is no different from his previous life in the inner courtyard. After returning home and staying with Jiang Xiaofeng for a few days and upgrading the home's protective measures again, Jiang Xiaofeng, who was bored, returned to the academy. There was no way. With Jiang Xiaofeng's personality, it was still a bit difficult to let him idle. Jiang Xiaofeng had no idea how many times he had upgraded the home's protective system when he was bored. Considering various possible accidents, Jiang Xiaofeng also built a gravity simulation system and a biosphere simulation system in the basement of his home, and nuclear propulsion, etc. After all these were completed, Jiang Xiaofeng, who didn't know what to do, had to run back to Shrek Academy to continue his research on the golden ancient tree. Now it can be confirmed that, first of all, the lore shell of this golden ancient tree cannot be broken through by physical means. Although the 12th level fixed soul guide cannon destroyed the golden ancient tree from a physical level, it did not cause the slightest impact on the internal laws. It is not completely without any impact. The vitality of the entire Daolo continent dropped rapidly after the golden ancient tree was blown up. In short, if you want to penetrate this outer wall, you need to use the same or even higher level of lore attack to break it. However, this outer wall is composed of all the laws of this world. Then, if you want to break it, you need all the laws of another world. However, the result of this is likely to be the destruction of both worlds. Because once this outer wall is broken, it means that the laws of this world will completely collapse, and all order will be in disorder. To give a simple example, if the laws of the world collapse, then the growth and development of children will no longer be growth and development, but various chaotic growths, such as becoming a disgusting monster. The difficulty now lies in how to prevent the laws from collapsing, while breaking the wall of laws. And after setting up new laws, it also needs enough energy to reconstruct the laws. This energy is roughly equivalent to the energy required for the birth of a planet. But finally there is an idea. Although the plan has not been finalized, the general direction has been determined. Forget it, go to the Daolo library to read books. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng closed his eyes, and his consciousness also came to this familiar Daolo library. Search keywords. Jiang Xiaofeng pondered for a while, and then said uncertainly, Tang-san. The bookshelves in front of Jiang Xiaofeng instantly began to change and screen. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't have much hope for finding more information about Tang-san in this place. After all, Tang-san was a time traveler. He could only find some things he knew at most. Soon, several rows of bookshelves appeared in front of Jiang Xiaofeng. Obviously, the screening had already produced results. So many? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the rows of bookshelves in front of him with some surprise. Logically speaking, these memories should be the most tightly sealed memories of Tang-san. If you want to break these seals, you must spend a lot of energy. If I guessed correctly, the power of the Lord of the Plains should be in a state of being used up a little bit, and it will be completely extinct in a few thousand years at most. According to Tang-san's plan, it was Tang Hao and I Yin who devoured the Abyss Plane and evolved, and they had nothing to do with this Lord of the Plains. By then, the evolved Tang Hao and I Yin could easily supply the consumption of other particles. If that's the case, why did the Lord of the original plane spend so much energy to unlock these memories? Could it be that there is something in it that it must let him see? Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng curiously picked up the first book in front of him and began to read it. Tang-san was born in the 9th year of Zuan. His father is Wei Wuxin and his mother is Lan Wangji. What's going on? Isn't it Tang Hao and I Yin? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the contents of the book in confusion. After he was born, he was abandoned due to family disputes. He was later adopted and raised by the Tang sect and named Tang-san. Is this Tang-san's previous life? But why is there a record of it here? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Fighting Spirit Hall and Research Department. Jiang Xiaofeng knew that, as long as it was recorded in the books of this library, there would be no mistakes. Neither Tangsen nor the Lord of the Plains himself could modify the memory of this planet. With strong curiosity, Jiang Xiaofeng continued to read. After being adopted by the Tang sect, Tangsen gradually became the most outstanding disciple of the outer sect. After trying to enter the inner sect without success, Tangsen began to secretly learn the inner sect skills and created the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus. Well, the rest is what I know. Jiang Xiaofeng flipped the pages of the book and said to himself, "Huh, what is this?" Jiang Xiaofeng's hand that was flipping the pages of the book suddenly stopped. Not long after Tangsen jumped off the cliff, the God realm descended. Because human civilization has become more prosperous and powerful and is not under the control of God. In order to facilitate control, God destroyed all humans, including all technology, skills, and all traces of their existence. Destroyed them all. The Lord of the Plains preserved the soul of Tangsan, the most outstanding genius of this era. He collected it in a special space, hoping that it would become the key to breaking the deadlock. 20 million years later, a war broke out in the God realm and the dragon god fell. His blood was spilled on the Daoluo continent, giving birth to the first batch of soul beasts in this world. And the second batch of humans also began to enter the Neolithic age. Because the God realm has not yet completely controlled this world, in order to check and balance soul beasts, God has modified the laws of this world. No matter what kind of skill it is, if you want to break through the realm, you must absorb soul rings. And soul rings can only come from soul beasts. It's not just beasts that bathed in the blood of the dragon god. There were humans as well. Under the influence of the dragon god's blood, 37,863,583 people on the Daoluo continent died. The remaining 1,910 lucky ones awakened extremely powerful martial spirits. Under the silent promotion of the gods, nearly 100 of these 1,910 lucky ones became Super Daoluo or even Ultimate Daoluo. Most of the rest were titled Daoluo, and the worst were Soul Daoluo. But due to the constraints of numbers and lifespans, they ultimately failed to dominate the Daoluo continent. And their descendants, because they couldn't find a way to awaken their martial spirits, nearly became extinct. In the thousands of years that followed, they found a perfect way to awaken martial spirits. Since then, the new humans have successfully gained a foothold on the Daoluo continent. With the intervention of the gods, the civilization of the new humans began to develop abnormally. They established the Xiandao Empire, the Xingluo Empire, and the Wuhan Hall. After that, the Plain Lord thought the right time had come and placed Tangsan's soul in a newborn baby. Although tens of millions of years had passed in this world, because Tangsan's soul had been in a special space, for Tangsan, all this only passed in a moment. After that, Tangsan followed the Plain Lord's plan, and relied on the hidden weapons of the previous civilization, to rapidly improve his skills. However, the Plain Lord's little tricks did not escape the eyes of the gods. In the end, Tangsan became one of the god kings of the god realm, and the Plain Lord was deprived of the power to modify the laws. This right was handed over to the direct control of the god realm through the hands of the golden ancient tree. 10,000 years later, the Plain Lord tried again. This time, he was more cautious than before, and did not let him show too strong strength at the beginning. And the person he chose was Huo Heo. But he failed again. After Tangsan became the god king, he monitored the Daoluo continent very closely. Huo Heo eventually became a member of the god realm. And now, I'm the Plain Lord's last fight. Jiang Xiaofeng slammed the book shut and murmured, so that's how it is. No wonder the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire and various immortal herbs that Tangsan had heard of in his previous life still existed after he came to Daoluo continent. If they are in the same world, then it's easy to explain. Gently putting the book back on the bookshelf, Jiang Xiaofeng let out a long sigh. Don't worry, if I have the chance, I will help you vent your anger. After saying that, Jiang Xiaofeng's mind moved, and his consciousness left the Daoluo library. Looking at the sky, time had unknowingly reached the afternoon. Jiang Xiaofeng was going to take a look at Nanba Heavy Industries. Although the factory had officially been put on track, and he was not needed much at ordinary times, Jiang Xiaofeng still went to take a look from time to time. in order to prevent the group of scientific researchers rescued a few days ago from being silenced by the Holy Spirit Church. Jiang Xiaofeng also placed them all in Nanba Heavy Industries. The work there is easy, the salary is high, and the working environment is safe. Over the past few days, they all like the life here. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone began to ring continuously. He picked up the phone with some confusion. Who would call him at this time? Hello? Hello, is this Jiang Xiaofeng? A male voice came from the phone. It's me, what's the matter? Excuse me, do you have time to come to Tangmen? You don't have to come now, you can come whenever you have time. Jiang Xiaofeng suddenly realized that it was the Tang sect that only lived in the background. It was probably that the author had too much fun and almost forgot about the Tang sect. It's okay, I just have time now. That's perfect. My name is Jiuo Xiaoxu. I'll wait for you at the gate of Tang sect. See you later. The phone was hung up. Jiuo Xiaoxu? It seemed to be a steward in Tang sect. He was looking for him at this time, and he didn't know what the matter was. Soon, Jiang Xiaofeng, riding on the mechanical creator, arrived at the Tang sect headquarters. A middle-aged man was already waiting for Jiang Xiaofeng at the door of Tang sect headquarters. Jiang Xiaofeng gripped the brake handle tightly, and the mechanical creator slowly stopped in front of the middle-aged man. As Jiang Xiaofeng got off the motorcycle sideways, the mechanical creator also turned into a mobile phone and flew into Jiang Xiaofeng's hand. Looking at the motorcycle that turned into a mobile phone, Jiuo Xiaoxu couldn't help but reveal a touch of admiration in his eyes. Hello, Jiang Xiaofeng. I'm Jiuo Xiaoxu, the master of the fighting spirit hall and the steward of the outer hall. As he spoke, Jiuo Xiaoxu extended his right hand. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng also extended his right hand and shook hands with Jiuo Xiaoxu. Hello. Speaking of which, Jiuo Xiaoxu's attitude surprised Jiang Xiaofeng a little. The attitude he showed was more like the way of communication between peers. In terms of common sense, Jiuo Xiaoxu is much older than Jiang Xiaofeng, even if his age, before he traveled through time, is taken into account. Therefore, if Jiuo Xiaoxu adopts the attitude of an elder, Jiang Xiaofeng will not reject it. After our investigation, we in the Tang sect believe that you are qualified to join the Fighting Spirit Hall. Whether it is character or strength, you are fully qualified. Jiang Xiaofeng was about to answer when Jiuo Xiaoxu interrupted him. Don't rush to answer, we in the Tang sect have another invitation. After investigation by the Tang sect's scientific research department, we believe that you are fully capable of joining. In fact, the inspection of the research department is more stringent than that of the Fighting Spirit Hall. Because the research department has the real confidential information of the Tang sect, in order to prevent the leakage of confidential information, the inspection of the research department is particularly strict. But now, Jiang Xiaofeng's situation is really special. Jiuo Xiaoxu even doubted whether Jiang Xiaofeng could look down on the confidential information of the research department. Considering that you are still in the learning period, I suggest that you just put your name on the research department, and you can also receive some benefits at ordinary times. After graduation, you only need to participate in a scientific research project once a year. The Fighting Spirit Hall has a higher degree of freedom, and I recommend you to join. Although you need to complete 2 tasks every year, the evil soul masters you kill in your spare time are enough to offset these 2 tasks. Moreover, with the identity of the Fighting Spirit Hall, it can also bring you a lot of convenience in life. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Jiuo Xiaoxu in surprise and asked, is the benefit so good? It feels like I don't have to pay anything. Jiuo Xiaoxu smiled. It seems that you have underestimated your value. Judging from your current ability, you are definitely a strategic talent. From this point of view, our Tang sect's efforts are definitely worth it. What's more, they have estimated Jiang Xiaofeng's character. He is definitely not the kind of person who likes to take advantage of others. As long as the Tang sect pays enough, Jiang Xiaofeng will definitely do something to repay the favor. And in this way, their goal will be achieved. As a top scientific research talent, Jiang Xiaofeng will be of great benefit to the Tang sect, even if he casually gives away some technology. And this is also the Tang sect's consistent attitude towards top talents. Even if we can't use them, we can't defend them. Chapter 90, Space Evil Spirit Master. Okay. Jiang Xiaofeng thought about it for a while, and agreed to Jiuo Xiaoxu's suggestion. Joining in would not be bad for Jiang Xiaofeng himself, and the identities of the Daohan Hall and the Scientific Research Department could also bring Jiang Xiaofeng a lot of conveniences, which would be a sure win. Jiuo Xiaoxu nodded. Okay, please follow me. Jiang Xiaofeng followed Jiuo Xiaoxu, and passed through layers of inspections to a new underground area. This is your fighter equipment. After the registration was completed, Jiuo Xiaoxu handed Jiang Xiaofeng a tray, on which was a white jade token, and waves of soul guide fluctuations continued to come from the inside of the token. In fact, there was originally a set of fighter uniforms. But your situation is a bit special, and the fighter uniform is of no use to you. Jiuo Xiaoxu explained. It's okay. Jiang Xiaofeng waved his hand. I can understand that my armor is too recognizable. But don't worry, my family is well protected. Even if the Daoluo continent is destroyed, my family will be fine. Jiuo Xiaoxu smiled, obviously thinking that Jiang Xiaofeng was just joking. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng did not explain too much. Next, I'll take you to see the research department. After going deeper underground again, Jiuo Xiaoxu and Jiang Xiaofeng came to a medium-sized factory underground. This is the research department, but it's not the headquarters of the research department. Jiuo Xiaoxu explained. The headquarters of the research department is not in Shrek City. I can take you to see it, if there is a chance in the future. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. Okay, I understand. Then, from today on, you are a yellow level fighter of the Tang Sect Fighting Spirit Hall, and one of the deputy directors of the Tang Sect's research department. Yellow level? Deputy director? Jiang Xiaofeng frowned and asked in surprise. I remember that those who first entered the Fighting Spirit Hall can only be white level fighters. Jiuo Xiaoxu explained with a smile. First of all, your strength fully meets the requirements for promotion to a yellow level fighter. At the same time, your final exam is also completely equivalent to the requirement of 10 tasks to be promoted to a yellow level fighter. As for the position of deputy director, to be honest, if it weren't for your lack of qualifications, there would be no problem with the transfer. Jiuo Xiaoxu seemed to suddenly remember something and continued. Oh, by the way, normally there should be only one deputy director, because the deputy director is usually the next director. Now because of your sudden joining, there are 2 deputy directors instead of 1, which may make the original deputy director at the headquarters dissatisfied. So, please bear with me when you go to the headquarters. I understand. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded, put away the Scientific Research Department identity card and the fighter medal, and left Tangmen. Because Tangmen is a bit far from Nanba Heavy Industries, Jiang Xiaofeng did not go to Nanba Heavy Industries again, but went directly back to the dormitory. Lying on the bed, Jiang Xiaofeng picked up his mobile phone and logged into the official website of Daohan Hall. Normally, to enter this website, you must have sufficient permissions, such as the identity of a Daohan Hall member. Jiang Xiaofeng, who likes to play cracked versions, does not count. The interface background of the Daohan Hall official website is black, giving people a feeling of being in the dark. Jiang Xiaofeng clicked on the taskbar and began to check if there were any suitable tasks. The personal missions of the Soul Fighting Hall are usually to hunt down evil soul masters, which will indicate the approximate location, strength, appearance, etc. of the evil soul master. Because Jiang Xiaofeng is a yellow level fighter, he can naturally accept many more missions than white level fighters, and the danger is naturally much greater. The mission targets of yellow level fighters are usually soul emperors and soul saints. At this level of strength, it is not easy for the Tang Sect to track them down. Hey, this is interesting. Jiang Xiaofeng's eyes suddenly stopped on a bounty target, name unknown, martial soul, Bruton, space-based evil soul master. He is weak in strength, but very good at escaping. He also has the ability to teleport randomly, with a range of about 100 kilometers in radius, which can be used once or twice a day. Jiang Xiaofeng began to think. To deal with this kind of opponent, Guyu seems to be more suitable. Just block the space directly. But she is not here now, so we have to use other methods. If it is just about fighting, let alone other things, the combination of shark and a razor energy bottle can perfectly restrain him. But his escape is a bit troublesome. I need to do something. Soon, time came to the afternoon of the next day. The transformation of the drill crusher is completed. Jiang Xiaofeng said to himself as he looked at the drill crusher whose appearance had not changed much. Then, Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the computer. The location has been roughly determined, and we can set off. Jiang Xiaofeng did it right away. He ordered a single bed ticket for a hotel in Xianluo City online. Then he transformed into a rocket panda and flew directly to Xianluo City. When Jiang Xiaofeng reached a certain height, several soul guide waves came, and Jiang Xiaofeng's armor also emitted a wave. This was to confirm the identity of the flying object, and Jiang Xiaofeng emitted his own identification signal. Most large cities, including Shrek City, belong to the restricted air zone. If you fly recklessly without sufficient authority, it is not surprising that the city's defense system will directly launch an attack. Although Jiang Xiaofeng can shield the city's detection, in most cases, Jiang Xiaofeng still wants to be a good citizen who abides by the law. The straight line flight speed of the rocket panda form is very fast. In terms of straight line flight speed alone, neither the Eagle Gatling form nor the Phoenix robot form can compare with it. It's just that the rocket panda form lacks flexibility. Relatively speaking, the rocket panda form is more suitable for close combat and escape. After flying for about 2 hours, the navigation on the panel showed that he had flown to the sky outside Xianluo City. Slowly falling outside Xianluo City, Jiang Xiaofeng released the night system and summoned the mechanical creator to ride into the city. Xianluo City is a small and medium-sized city located in the inland area of Daoluo continent. Because this city is located at the junction of the Xiandao Empire and the Xingluo Empire in history, it is named after this. After entering the city smoothly, Jiang Xiaofeng rode a motorcycle to the Xianluo Hotel. This is a relatively luxurious hotel in Xianluo City. It costs a lot of money to stay for one night. But Jiang Xiaofeng is not short of money now. After quickly completing the formalities, Jiang Xiaofeng came to his room. The room is very large, with all kinds of facilities, and the bed and other daily necessities are also arranged very neatly. Jiang Xiaofeng sat on the sofa, took out his mobile phone, and began to check the newly collected information. According to the intelligence collected by Jiang Xiaofeng before, the place where the evil soul master was last monitored was near this city. Therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng rushed to this city as quickly as possible. And now, Jiang Xiaofeng is searching for recent calls in this city to see if he can find any clues from them. About 10 minutes later, the system initially screened out 4 more suspicious calls. Jiang Xiaofeng began to manually review the sources of these 4 calls, and finally determined that one of them was the target he was looking for. As for the remaining 3, one was a 1 in a million person with a second syndrome, and the other 2 were criminals. After determining the target, Jiang Xiaofeng set up automatic tracking. Once the target uses this number to call again, Jiang Xiaofeng can instantly lock his location. After finishing all this, Jiang Xiaofeng went straight to sleep. There was no way, and I didn't know why, most evil soul masters were night owls. Could it be that they were afraid of sunlight like vampires? Jiang Xiaofeng complained in his heart, and then fell asleep on the bed. My lord, I dare to ask, what is it? Gu asked lightly. Dishan hesitated for a moment, and finally asked, my lord, have you ever seen a person wearing red and blue armor? As far as I know, his name should be Kamen Rider Foundry. Oh. Gu looked at Dishan in surprise. Where did you hear this name? My lord, please forgive me. Dishan knelt on the ground suddenly. I can't tell the truth. Chapter 91. A miracle will definitely happen. Hey, a whole night has passed, and there is nothing happening. Jiang Xiaofeng repeatedly confirmed the information. Xianluo City last night can really be described as calm and peaceful, and no crime has occurred. Could it be because of my domineering aura? Jiang Xiaofeng wondered in his heart. After confirming again that the evil soul master was still in the city, Jiang Xiaofeng was relieved. After having breakfast in the hotel, Jiang Xiaofeng, who had nothing to do, simply went to find the criminals he saw yesterday. When looking for the traces of the evil Soul Master's core yesterday, he also found traces of many criminals, and their hiding ability was not so good. Many of these criminals are not even Soul Masters, but they are a little stronger. Speaking of which, it seems that I'm not a Soul Master myself. In short, the highest cultivation of these criminals is only the 3rd ring cultivation, and their strength is still a bit weak. To deal with these people, Jiang Xiaofeng, whose danger level has reached 3.7, can easily solve them without even an energy bottle. In fact, the increase in danger level has a great improvement in physical fitness. However, this improvement was not shown much in the special drama, because of the plot. Oh, there was also a performance. Saruto Ike, whose danger level was greatly increased, poked Kiryu Battle Rabbit with one finger. But logically speaking, Kiryu Battle Rabbit's danger level should be higher at that time. In short, if the current Jiang Xiaofeng were to fight Yi England 3 years ago, Jiang Xiaofeng, whose danger level has increased by 0.5, can easily suppress Yi England 3 years ago. As for Yi England now, she has also grown rapidly in 3 years. If Jiang Xiaofeng does not use the energy bottle, it is absolutely impossible to defeat her head-on. The Xianluo City Public Security Bureau encountered a strange thing today. Every 10 or 20 minutes, a wanted criminal would fall at the door of the Public Security Bureau. These people are not, because they are incapable of arresting them, but because it is not worth it. The leader of these people is a 3-ring Soul Master, and ordinary police can't do anything about them. But it is not worth sending out high-level Soul Masters, and these people have someone above them. Because of this series of reasons, these people are able to get away with it. But today's situation is different. These wanted criminals were thrown at the door of the Public Security Bureau in full view of the public. If they still turn a blind eye to this as before, it will definitely be a huge blow to the reputation of the Public Security Bureau. More importantly, these people who were thrown at the door of the Public Security Bureau all had a strange mark on their bodies. Perhaps ordinary people don't know what this mark means, but as long as they have a slightly higher position, they can know that this is the symbol of the Tang sect's fighting Soul Hall. God knows if these people have lost their minds and caused trouble to the Tang sect. What? You say they have a relationship with government officials? Impossible. We can't know such social scum. Ah. You say this person is my son? You don't know. I have long disowned this unfilial descendant. In short, because of this series of reasons, all the wanted criminals thrown at the door of the Public Security Bureau were examined at the fastest speed and then imprisoned, with unprecedented efficiency. Jiang Xiaofeng stretched his body, that had just been vigorously exercised. He just tried to manipulate the monster with his physical body. A 3-ring Soul Master, barely considered a monster. In short, the effect is not bad, and the 3 soul skills have basically no effect on me. Of course, this 3-ring Soul Master is also a relatively rubbish one. Tang Wulin, who is also a 3-ring, if Jiang Xiaofeng fights him with his physical body, he will definitely be beaten. After dealing with these things, Jiang Xiaofeng, who felt a little relieved, returned to the hotel. There is no need to worry about whether this will scare away Jiang Xiaofeng's target. The Holy Spirit Church only cooperates with the Spirit Pagoda, and it is limited to the top leaders. Although Jiang Xiaofeng's target is a soul saint, he is not qualified to access the information shared by the top leaders, and their top leaders will not care about the movements of a yellow level fighter. Well, if they knew that they were the one who broke into the Spirit Pagoda that day, that would be another story. In the evening, Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone finally rang. This means that Jiang Xiaofeng's target is talking again, and Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone quickly began to track it. During the tracking process, Jiang Xiaofeng was not idle either, and directly called the mechanical creator to fly away. Because the other party is a space-based evil soul master, if the other party suddenly wants to leave the city, he can do it in an instant. In this case, Jiang Xiaofeng would have to run a little further, but Jiang Xiaofeng didn't want to run that much further. Jiang Xiaofeng had tried to use this method to find the Holy Spirit Church's lair before. In the end, Jiang Xiaofeng found it, but not completely, because they were far away from home. I say, Bruton, you've been in Xianluo City long enough. If you stay any longer, aren't you afraid of something happening? Don't worry, Emperor, I know my limits. Nothing will happen. P.S. I'm too lazy to think of a name. It's too troublesome to come up with a name. No, I say, you've been there for more than a month. The key is that you still flirt with girls from time to time. Do you really think the fighting spirit all is blind? Okay, I'll just flirt with one more and leave. Okay, I'm hanging up. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, beep beep beep, really? You're just worrying about nothing. Bruton muttered to himself and then licked his lips as if he had thought of something. But this time, this girl is really hot. I'm going to make her a part of me no matter what. Is this guy so hungry? Jiang Xiaofeng, who was monitoring the call messages while hurrying on his way, complained. For a woman, he doesn't even want his life. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but sigh. It seems that the women who disappeared this month are probably in danger. Henshin the motorcycle drifted past a sharp turn, and the 13-year-old boy on the motorcycle had disappeared. Instead, it was Kamen Rider Foundry, wearing red and blue armor. He twisted the accelerator on the handlebars suddenly, and the lion energy bottle immediately sent a powerful power, causing the motorcycle's speed to instantly burst to 513 km/h. The sky gradually darkened. Except for the night market, pedestrians in other places began to gradually become scarce. And this is also the time when evil soul masters like to act. However, a certain evil soul master today is a bit miserable. He just showed up, and before he could see where the target was, he was hit far away by an incredibly fast motorcycle. If it was just the speed, there would be no problem. The problem is that it has a crazy addition of a chainsaw-like gear on the front of the motorcycle, and it is also attached with a powerful unknown energy. If Bruton hadn't reacted quickly, he would probably have been hit hard at the first sight. Bruton cursed inwardly, and then released his one-word battle armor with caution. He couldn't see through the person in front of him, so he had to be extremely prepared. If possible, it would be best to avoid a fight. I have no grudges against you. Why did you suddenly attack me? It's just a one-word battle armor. You Holy Spirit Church are really poor. Jiang Xiaofeng did not answer his question, but leisurely got off the mechanical creator. Bruton's pupils suddenly shrank, and then he smiled apologetically. Well, you're joking. How could I be a member of the Holy Spirit Church? Did you recognize the wrong person? Okay, stop pretending. Jiang Xiaofeng said with some contempt. Aren't you going to find a girl called, what's her name tonight? Judging from your tone at the time, you should be planning to rape her first, and then kill her. At this point, Jiang Xiaofeng made a thoughtful gesture. It can't be said to be killing. According to the nature of your Holy Spirit Church, it seems that cannibalism has not been uncommon. Seeing that the person in front of him had completely confirmed his identity, Bruton no longer argued. He knew that it was no use to continue to argue. That's not right. Don't you usually come out when the beauty is in the most danger? Jiang Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment. Who told you that? My colleagues said so. They said that this way those people can kill two birds with one stone. Jiang Xiaofeng said speechlessly. Who would do this kind of heroic thing to save the beauty? They may even have to think of a name for her, and naming is the most troublesome thing. Stop talking nonsense. As he spoke, the drill crusher appeared in Jiang Xiaofeng's hand. Chapter 92, Star Forest. The drill swung out violently, and Bruton could feel that his one-word battle armor could not withstand such an attack. But there was no panic on his face, as if everything was under his control. At the moment, when the drill crusher was about to hit him, Bruton's figure disappeared on the spot. However, under the mask that Bruton could not see, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. I'm waiting for your move. The drill crusher instantly switched to gun mode, and Jiang Xiaofeng in the mask slowly closed his eyes. In those years, the armor was so slow, and the opponent's movements were so fast. In this case, Jiang Xiaofeng could not keep up with Kadoya's attack with just his eyes. It was under such extreme conditions that Jiang Xiaofeng explored the eye of the heart. What you hear is not true, and what you see is not necessarily true. Therefore, you must use your heart to feel the enemy's movements. There. Jiang Xiaofeng turned around and pulled the trigger. A bullet that was slightly different from the usual energy bullet flew away, and the direction it shot was empty. Suddenly, a wave appeared in front of the bullet, and a figure emerged from it. The bullet hit Bruton instantly, before he could react. Everything was so coincidental, but it didn't seem so coincidental. Bruton touched his chest in panic, and after feeling that he was not hurt, he smiled disdainfully. Although I don't know how you hit me, you don't think that this kind of attack can cause harm to me? Jiang Xiaofeng didn't answer, but tapped the drill crusher lightly and pulled the trigger again. Bruton stood there confidently without dodging, and then his battle armor was shattered in many places. This time, even if Bruton was stupid, he could react. The person in front of him definitely had the ability to defeat him. His own combat ability was not strong, but he was able to gain a foothold by relying on the weird space spirit. And now, his invincible space ability has lost its advantage. If he continues to fight, he will definitely lose. Thinking of this, Bruton directly activated his life-saving skill, once a day long-distance teleportation. In fact, Bruton's teleportation radius is not 100 kilometers, but 50 kilometers to 150 miles. This distance is enough for him to escape from danger. Jiang Xiaofeng watched him complete the teleportation quietly, and then sat on the motorcycle. On the LCD display of the mechanical creator, a red dot was flashing continuously. This is the function of the modified drill crusher. Its gun mode can shoot two types of bullets. One is a regular energy bullet, and the other is the bullet with little attack power. That bullet does not seem to have much attack power, but there is a macro robot hidden inside the bullet. It has extremely high defense, and even if it is hit by a bullet, the built-in function will not be damaged. After hitting the target, it will attach to the target's skin surface and continuously release weak signals, so that Jiang Xiaofeng can know his position. Because it is too small, even a Soul Master can hardly detect this process. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly started the mechanical creator and rushed to the location transmitted by the tracker. The opponent's current location is in a desolate area outside Xianluo City. If you want to catch up, you need to leave the city. But it's not a big problem. The opponent's real-time location has been completely controlled. About half an hour later, Bruton appeared in Jiang Xiaofeng's sight again. But obviously, he still didn't know anything. So, a certain miserable evil soul master was walking in the wilderness and was hit by a car again. How did you find me? Bruton, who fell to the ground, roared in horror. He couldn't understand why the life-saving skills that saved his life several times would become ineffective. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't talk nonsense with him anymore and directly inserted the rocket energy bottle into the drill crusher. Ready, go. Prepare, go. The sky blue light began to gather towards the muzzle, and Bruton also looked at the gun in Jiang Xiaofeng's hand nervously. He knew that he was no match for the person in front of him, so he had to find a way to escape. Vortex break, vortex crushing. A sky blue energy rocket was ejected from the muzzle. When it was about to hit Bruton, Bruton's body flashed with silver light and disappeared again. Looking at the fatal blow that failed to hit the target, Jiang Xiaofeng did not panic. The sky blue energy rocket flew forward for a short distance, then turned to the right and rear. At the same time, a silver light flashed behind Jiang Xiaofeng, and Bruton's figure emerged from it. But what appeared in front of Bruton was the energy rocket he had just dodged. Feeling the explosion behind him, Jiang Xiaofeng said disdainfully, "Space system, such a high-end ability, but you can only teleport?" Suddenly, a strong space fluctuation came from the explosion. Before Jiang Xiaofeng could react, a silver light enveloped the surrounding hundreds of meters. In fact, Bruton's martial spirit belongs to the top space system martial spirit, but it's a pity that he doesn't know how to use it. And his martial spirit also has a top level but useless ability. When he dies, objects within a radius of 200 meters will be randomly teleported to a place within a radius of 1000 kilometers. Where is this? Jiang Xiaofeng looked up and looked around, and saw that around him were densely packed trees and birds singing everywhere. And under Jiang Xiaofeng's feet was a small earthen slope made of thick broken soil. Well, it seems that everything including the ground has been moved here. Jiang Xiaofeng walked down the slope and kept looking at the surrounding environment. It seems that I should be in a forest now, which should be natural. After looking around for a few times, Jiang Xiaofeng simply picked up his mobile phone to locate it. Jiang Xiaofeng's mobile phone is a special mobile phone. Even if there is no signal coverage, as long as it is still on the Daolo continent, it can connect to the wireless network. Soon, the positioning result came out. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the positioning on the phone. Xingdao Great Forest. Jiang Xiaofeng subconsciously wanted to take out the smoke gun and run away, but he changed his mind and stopped this behavior. Otherwise, take this opportunity to try it and use the smoke gun to run away when something goes wrong. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaofeng took out his mobile phone and began to navigate to the core area. Because the motorcycle was too noisy, Jiang Xiaofeng chose to walk. Fortunately, the powerful detection ability of the night system allowed him to accurately avoid soul beasts one by one. Along the way, Jiang Xiaofeng did not walk fast. On the contrary, in order to avoid disturbing other soul beasts as much as possible, Jiang Xiaofeng walked very slowly. It was not until late at night that Jiang Xiaofeng saw a lake from afar. This is the Lake of Life. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the lake and muttered to himself. According to historical records, the Lake of Life is a very vast lake. But the lake in front of Jiang Xiaofeng is far less vast than in the historical records. On the contrary, it seems a little narrow. Is it because of human destruction of the environment that it is almost dried up? Jiang Xiaofeng thought in his heart. However, if this is also considered dried up, then how vast was the former Lake of Life? Suppressing the heart that was beating violently due to tension, the smoke gun was also tightly clenched in his hand. Jiang Xiaofeng began to move forward to the lake in front of him. Finally, the Lake of Life was fully displayed in front of Jiang Xiaofeng. Along with it, there was a refreshing feeling like a breeze. All the cells in the body seemed to relax because of this refreshing feeling. With this refreshing feeling, all the fatigue on Jiang Xiaofeng's body disappeared instantly without a trace. But Jiang Xiaofeng did not relax because of this, but even his breathing stagnated. Because there was a middle-aged man with golden eyes and black hair standing quietly in front of him, as if he had been waiting for his arrival from the beginning. Golden eyes, black hair, middle-aged man, can stand by the Lake of Life safely. There is only one person who can meet these conditions. With 800,000 years of cultivation, the golden-eyed Black Dragon King, Xian. You are here, Kamen Rider, Foundry. Chapter 93 Emperor Xian. Are you waiting for me? Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the middle-aged man standing in front of him in astonishment. He had imagined various ways of meeting, such as being forced to run away after meeting, being forced to run away after talking a few words, etc. But Jiang Xiaofeng never thought that his first meeting with Xian would be opened in such a way. From the moment you entered the Xingdao Great Forest, I have been waiting for you here, the middle-aged man said calmly. His voice did not seem very deep, as if he was really just an ordinary middle-aged man. Just as he said, you will come to the Xingdao Great Forest on this day, and enter the Great Evil Land alone to find me. Xian continued. Jiang Xiaofeng keenly captured the key information in Xian's words. Combined with Xian's abnormal attitude, Jiang Xiaofeng had a vague guess in his heart. That is a man wearing pink armor, like you. He is also a Kamen Rider. His name is Kadoyoshi. Kamen Rider, Decade. Xian did not hide anything and explained directly. You should have heard of the wall surrounding the Xingdao Great Forest 3 years ago. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. I know, but that wall alone should not be able to trap you. Even if you can't break through head on, you should have other ways to go around it. Yes. Xian nodded and said, if it's just this wall, it can't stop any of our beasts. Then why? And the purpose of the Spirit Pagoda is not to really stop us. As he said, Xian turned his head and looked at the Lake of Life. Do you know why this lake became the Lake of Life? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head. He really didn't know this. Xian slowly closed his eyes and saw that the calm lake surface suddenly became turbulent. In the center of the lake, an emerald green gem slowly floated up. This is the Lake of Life, or the real core of our star forest. Xian looked at the green gem full of life with a serious face. If this gem of life is destroyed or leaves here, then the entire star forest will wither in an instant. And this is the real purpose of building that wall. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded thoughtfully. I see. If you act rashly, they will immediately bombard this lake. With the power of the Soul Guide Cannon, this gem can indeed be destroyed. This is the real reason why you are trapped. But all this changed 3 years ago. Deshan recalled. 3 years ago, Kamen Rider Decade from another world suddenly appeared in the Star Forest, and then destroyed the wall surrounding the Star Forest in one fell swoop. Not only that, he left something behind later. As he spoke, Deshan waved his hand lightly, and a bizarre spherical light shield instantly wrapped the gem. Looking at Jiang Xiaofeng, who was shocked, Deshan explained, "This is the shield he left behind with the power of the dimension. Even the God King cannot break it. Therefore, even if humans build the wall again, it will not be as deterrent as before. Moreover, they will not have this opportunity again." At this point, Deshan's calm face revealed a hint of viciousness. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded in agreement. After this lesson, the Spirit Pagoda would not have a second chance to build a wall. However, since the wall has long disappeared, why haven't I heard of any revenge against the Spirit Pagoda in the past 3 years? Jiang Xiaofeng asked in confusion. Because I promised him that every wrong has its perpetrator, every debt has its creditor, and revenge should not involve innocent people. At this point, Deshan revealed a trace of sadness. Also, because of the existence of the 4-character battle armor, I cannot defeat the several ultimate download of the Spirit Pagoda. Jiang Xiaofeng was silent for a while, and suddenly asked, having said that, if you have the chance, you should not give up revenge on humans, right? Deshan glanced at Jiang Xiaofeng and said lightly, yes, I can't give up revenge on humans. Humans destroyed my home, and killed my people. Kadoyoshi has been very kind to me. For his sake, no matter what the future holds, I will not kill you. However, at this point, Deshan looked at Jiang Xiaofeng with interest. He said, can you convince me to give up revenge? Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a while. First of all, I want to ask, can you control all the soul beasts? I can prevent soul beasts under 10,000 years old from setting foot on human territory, and soul beasts over 10,000 years old from harming humans. The premise is that you can convince me. Then, if I succeed in making humans no longer need soul rings and soul bones from soul beasts to practice, HMPH. Deshan sneered. Are you kidding? Even if you can do it, what does it have to do with us? The great hatred has already been made. Wait a minute, listen to me first. Jiang Xiaofeng interrupted Deshan's words. This is just one of the prerequisites. Otherwise, even if the previous hatred is written off, new hatred will continue to arise. Oh, then go on. But no matter how wonderful your words are, the premise is that you can do it. Of course. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded and said, if I don't do it, you can just treat what I said as a joke. And my second promise is also the real confidence for me to convince you. Let soul beasts no longer have the restrictions of death, and have the possibility of becoming gods. What did you say? Become gods? Deshan grabbed Jiang Xiaofeng's shoulders fiercely. If it weren't for the powerful defense of the Knight system, Jiang Xiaofeng's shoulders might have been crushed directly. No wonder Deshan was so emotional. From the birth of soul beasts to the present, how many soul beasts have fallen under the heavenly tribulation? The heavenly tribulation of soul beasts is different from the heavenly tribulation of cultivators in general cognition. No matter how horrible the heavenly tribulation of a cultivator is, there is always a glimmer of hope. Moreover, once a cultivator has survived the heavenly tribulation, he will gain great benefits, such as a more transparent heart of Taoism, etc. If a cultivator does not have the heavenly tribulation, his practice will be incomplete. The heavenly tribulation of soul beasts is different. Starting from 100,000 years later, every heavenly tribulation is a death tribulation, with no chance of survival. For some soul beasts with weaker bloodlines, once their cultivation reaches 100,000 years, their lives are basically at the end. As strong as the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, she can only survive the third 100,000 year heavenly tribulation. If it were not for Huo Heo, she would eventually fall under the 400,000 year heavenly tribulation. Even the beast god Emperor Shan can only survive the 800,000 year heavenly tribulation. When the next heavenly tribulation comes, it will be the time of his fall. Becoming a god is the ultimate wish of all soul beasts. Emperor Shan has also looked for ways for soul beasts to become gods, but without exception, they all ended in failure. Whether it's the spirit ring system or the spirit beast's heavenly tribulation, etc., they all belong to the rules of heaven and earth in the final analysis. Jiang Xiaofeng said affirmatively, as long as the rules of heaven and earth can be changed, these can be changed. Change the rules of heaven and earth. Dishan frowned. Obviously, he was really tempted now. It's easy for you to say it. Then take a look. What is this? Jiang Xiaofeng said, and took out a large energy bottle from behind. Dishan looked over with some doubts, but after just one look, he could no longer move his eyes away. Genius energy bottle. Dishan has seen this thing. Not long ago, he watched a war from a special perspective. Only 21 people crushed the entire god realm. He remembered each of these 21 people deeply, and one of them had this energy bottle inserted on his belt. It was a man in white armor, and his body was full of bottles of different colors. Although he only exuded the aura of a first level god, he still exerted extremely strong combat power. Even among those 21 people, he was also a top group. With every move he made, including defense, punching, running, fighting, and so on, several bottles on his body lit up. And such an existence must have the strength of a god king. And an existence that surpasses the god king may really be able to do this. Ha 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 ha. Good. Thinking of this, Dishan suddenly laughed wildly and said, if you can really make all of our soul beasts no longer have death, and have the possibility of becoming gods, what if we give up revenge? Dishan knew that, even if he completed his revenge, it would be useless. The dead soul master is dead after all, and he will eventually face his end. But if all soul beasts have the possibility of becoming gods like humans, then the goal of revenge seems insignificant. Then, it's a deal. If I fulfill all my promises, you will let go of your hatred for humans. Jiang Xiaofeng stretched out his fist. It's a deal. Let me explain here that the basic value of the genius form is relatively low among the ultimate riders. It mainly depends on whether the user can play with 60 abilities. If he can't play well, he will be frustrated. If he plays well, he will show off. For example, the basic punch power is 55T, and if you are not good at it, this punch will only be 55 tons. But in the hands of someone who knows how to play, the octopus energy bottle can increase the punch power 8-fold. The gorilla energy bottle can increase the punch power. The rocket energy bottle can increase the punch power. The train energy bottle can increase the punch power electromagnetically, and so on. Chapter 94 Mathematical, Physical and Chemical Association. Xiangjun and other fierce beasts slowly walked out of the lake of life. Xiangjun was the first to ask, Beast God, are we really going to give up revenge? Dishan glanced at Xiangjun calmly. Can you survive the next catastrophe? Xiangjun did not speak. Obviously, he had no confidence in the next catastrophe. Even if he could survive, the next catastrophe would be his death. For you, revenge is more important, or the opportunity to become a god. Not like those cowards, relying on humans to become a god, but the opportunity to cultivate and become a god. Dishan asked again. Still no answer, but when he heard the word becoming a god, Xiangjun's eyes showed an unconcealed desire. Xiangjun did not need to say anything else. Dishan already knew his answer. Maybe, he could mention this to the master next time. I met Dishan. Jiang Xiaofeng, who returned to the Shrek dormitory, sent this message to Guyu. After everything was done, it was already the next morning. To be honest, Jiang Xiaofeng really didn't expect that he would encounter so many things just by going out to perform a mission. Even if it is the treatment of the protagonist, it seems that it is just like this. Soon, several text messages came in succession. Why did you go to meet Dishan? Didn't I say not to go for the time being? He is very hostile to humans now. How are you now? Did Dishan do anything to you? Wait for me, I will go now, and should be able to arrive at school in the afternoon. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at Guyu's text message, and couldn't help laughing. Even through the screen, he could imagine Guyu's nervous expression at this time. Okay, I'm fine, you don't have to rush over. This meeting with Dishan went unexpectedly smoothly, and a lot of cooperation was achieved. As long as I can make all soul beasts no longer have death, and have the same possibility of becoming gods as humans, they are willing to let go of their hatred. After a while, Guyu sent a message. If it is such a condition, it is indeed enough for them to let go of their hatred. But, are you sure you can do it? It's not that I don't believe you. Whether I can do it or not, I will be with you. I'm just asking. Seeing this, Jiang Xiaofeng replied. Don't worry, I already have a general idea, but I still need to think about the details. No more chatting, I'll take a nap first. I didn't sleep last night. After sending this text message, Jiang Xiaofeng put down his phone and fell asleep. Guyu began to imagine the subsequent matters, such as systems, education and other matters. After all, even if Jiang Xiaofeng realized everything he said, it would only be equivalent to returning to the beginning of the God realm. If it is not properly governed, humans and soul beasts are likely to have a war like the original God realm. However, this place is much easier to solve than the original God realm. Everyone in the God realm is immortal, and it is basically impossible to change their minds. But it is different on the Daoluo continent. As long as you can restore your strength, the soul beasts will absolutely obey you. This is not just about strength, but also about bloodline suppression. On the human side, those who are hostile to soul beasts will eventually die. And the new generation of people are the easiest to accept new ideas, and they only need to work hard on re-education. Don't underestimate the power of education. Education gave birth to countless loyal people in ancient times. Education also allows modern people to be exposed to a wider world. It can be said that what kind of person a person will become depends largely on the education he receives. People who reject soul beasts gradually die out as time goes by, and there are more and more new generations willing to accept soul beasts. As long as there are no major mistakes in other aspects, this will form a virtuous circle. And I have a long lifespan, which can supervise the development of the relationship between humans and soul beasts, until it is completely on the right track. At that time, I can completely unload the burden on Xiaofeng. Wait. Jiang Xiaofeng seems to be unable to live forever? No, he can definitely solve this problem. Thinking of this, Guyu forced himself to suppress his thoughts, and shifted his thoughts to the conception of various rules and regulations. No, the toxicity is still too great. Jiang Xiaofeng crushed the long object in his hand and shook his head and said, in the past half month, Jiang Xiaofeng did not go anywhere else, but honestly did some research in the academy. And the other students also returned to school one after another. UNNEHUI, this fat sheep, seems to have really been slaughtered by Tang Wulin. From time to time, he would ask Tang Wulin for help in forging metal, which made Tang Wulin count money with a smile every day. As for the design of the battle armor, UNNEHUI did not ask him, and Jiang Xiaofeng would not come up to help her design. Although she is one of the protagonists of the original work, now, let it go. Guyu is also among those who return to school. After a winter vacation, Guyu has changed a lot. Although Guyu used to mix with others, she always gave people a feeling of being close yet distant. But now, Guyu seems to have really integrated into it. Speaking of which, Tang Wulin's luck is really great. A few days ago, Tang Wulin ran over with a panicked look on his face, saying that he went to the ascension platform in Shrek City, and then a dragon ran into his body. Jiang Xiaofeng was stunned for a moment. This plot feels so familiar. Afterwards, Tang Wulin described the appearance of the dragon. Jiang Xiaofeng took a look and thought, isn't this thing a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Then Jiang Xiaofeng thought of Tang Wulin's early cheat. There was no other way. Seeing Tang Wulin's frightened face, Dora Xiaofeng had to explain to Tang Wulin what was going on. It was probably that this Tyrannosaurus Rex voluntarily submitted to Tang Wulin, and when Tang Wulin's cultivation reached level 40, he would automatically become Tang Wulin's 10,000-year soul. Tang Wulin was naturally overjoyed to know the truth, not because he got a powerful soul, but because he could save a lot of money. School is about to start tomorrow, and all kinds of things have to be prepared. Suddenly, the phone rang, and Jiang Xiaofeng picked up the phone curiously. Is this a call from Wu Changkan? With a puzzled mood, Jiang Xiaofeng answered the phone. Hello, Teacher Wu? Xiaofeng, I want to ask you something on behalf of Shrek Academy. Are you willing to impart your knowledge in Shrek Academy? Wu Changkan was afraid that Jiang Xiaofeng had misunderstood, and quickly added, I'm just asking. Even if you don't want to, no one will do anything to you. And even if you are a professor, you don't need to impart all your knowledge. Jiang Xiaofeng thought for a while. Okay, but I hope that the knowledge I teach can be made public, even the kind that ordinary people can see. You want to make it all public? Wu Changkang said in surprise. But this should cause social unrest, right? Jiang Xiaofeng smiled. Don't worry, I know my limits. I'm just teaching the most basic things. That's good. Wu Changkang was obviously relieved. Then, according to the regulations, you can also set up an association. What are you going to name it? Hey, just call it. Hey, what kind of association is this? Why haven't I seen it before? I haven't seen it either. I remember there was an empty space here before. When did an association appear? Doesn't our college have various associations? Then what kind of association is this? Let me see. Mathematics, Physics, and Chemistry Association. The slogan is, learn math, physics, and chemistry well, and you won't be afraid to travel around the world. What is this? Don't know? Look here, this association seems to have only one member. Let me see. The president of the Mathematics, Physics, and Chemistry Association, Jiang Xiaofeng. Who is that? I've never heard of it. Do you want to go and see? Forget it, I'd better not go. This name doesn't interest me. You mean, his name is Jiang Xiaofeng? Well, wait, who are you? The two people who were discussing on the spot looked back suddenly, only to see a red-haired woman standing quietly behind them. She looked thoughtful, and didn't care about the two people in front of her at all. Jiang Xiaofeng. I'll go and see. Chapter 95. Linear Equations. Jiang Xiaofeng sat at the desk of the association, and kept typing on the computer. Today was his first class, and he had to prepare the course. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door of the studio. A woman with long dark red hair walked in. Unnehui. Jiang Xiaofeng looked at the figure at the door in surprise. Why are you here? Unnehui did not answer, but asked, is this the association you founded? Not completely. Jiang Xiaofeng explained. Shrek Academy hopes that I can pass on some of my knowledge, and then I agreed. So, there is this association? Unnehui asked curiously. Yeah. Jiang Xiaofeng nodded. Oh, by the way, there is my class for the first and second grades this morning. You can try to listen. If you are interested, you can join my association. Jiang Xiaofeng put away the computer. Okay, get ready to go to class. In the auditorium, the first and second grade students sat together. The auditorium of Shrek Academy is very spacious. Even if the first and second grade students sit together, it does not seem crowded at all. Of course, there are not many people in the first and second grades themselves. This open class is also a pilot. If the effect is good, it may be gradually promoted to other grades. The first and second grade students gathered in the auditorium and whispered. Do you know why we are here? I don't know. It seems to be a new course. We are used as a pilot. I heard that our school has formed a new association today. I don't know if it has anything to do with it. Hey, you know what? Maybe it really has something to do with it. Hey, don't talk for now. The teacher is here. Hey, what the hell? Jiang Xiaofeng walked up to the podium slowly with a computer. Hello, I'm the monitor of the first grade, and also the teacher of this new course. After a brief surprise, the first graders suddenly cheered. The second graders looked at the first graders' reactions with a blank face. First, let me introduce my course to you. Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry, which actually represents three parts. Mathematics, Physics, and Chemistry. Mathematics is the foundation of physics and chemistry, and it is used in every aspect of our lives. From currency transactions to the research of soul guide technology, many people don't realize it. Let me give you an example. Jiang Xiaofeng wrote a line of words on the blackboard. 1 + 1 equals. Do you know the answer to this question? Jiang Xiaofeng turned and asked the people in the audience. Most of the second year students looked at Jiang Xiaofeng as if he was a fool, and the first year students also looked at him with confusion. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. I think everyone knows the answer to this question. Then, I will give another judgment question. Here, I will introduce two concepts. Factors. Integer A divided by integer B. If the result is an integer and there is no remainder, then B is a factor of A. Jiang Xiaofeng paused slightly here. This is a relatively simple concept, but it still needs them to think about it. The second concept is prime numbers. Among integers greater than 1, there are no other factors, except 1 and itself. Jiang Xiaofeng quietly waited for the students to digest these two concepts before continuing. Then, this is my second question. Jiang Xiaofeng wrote another line on the blackboard. Any integer greater than 5 can be written as the sum of 3 prime numbers. Excuse me, is this conclusion correct? Jiang Xiaofeng quietly looked at the students in the audience, waiting for their answers. After a while, a spiritual soul master weakly raised his hand and said uncertainly, "It should be correct, right?" Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. "Why do you think it is correct?" The spiritual soul master's eyes were a little evasive and said, "Because I have calculated up to 1000, and I haven't found a counterexample yet." "Then how do you know that there is no counterexample after 1000? If it is wrong, please find the counterexample. If it is right, please prove it." Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and asked back. The spiritual soul master was immediately speechless. I'll think about it again." "Okay, stop." Jiang Xiaofeng clapped his hands. "If you can answer this question, you can officially declare that you have graduated from me. I just want to tell you that the above two questions are both mathematics. Don't ask me what's the use of studying mathematics. In the eyes of most of you, strength is everything. And mathematics is obviously of no help to strength. I have no comment on this point of view. In this world, without strength, we really can't do anything. But in my opinion, the cultivation of soul power has its limits after all. And the scientific exploration composed of mathematics, physics, and chemistry is endless. No matter how high the soul power is cultivated, it will disappear with the death of the person, but knowledge can be passed on from generation to generation. However, I must remind you, if you choose to cultivate soul power, everyone who can appear here will definitely not have bad achievements in the future. And if you choose to conduct scientific research, then you may not achieve anything in your life. Okay, let's start today's class. Linear equations of one variable. Time passed quickly, and a morning quickly slipped away in the classroom. A linear equation is very simple. Anyone with a reasonable IQ can master it in 5 minutes. After that, Jiang Xiaofeng continued to talk about various statistical graphs, probability statistics, the area of squares and rectangles, etc. In fact, some Shrek teachers who were listening to the class were also confused. After all, although some of the mathematics that Jiang Xiaofeng was talking about was a bit novel, it didn't seem to be related to the various devices invented by Jiang Xiaofeng. However, they also knew that a tall building starts from the ground, so they didn't ask the doubts in their hearts. Okay, today's class ends here. Those who are interested can sign up to join my association in the afternoon. Get out of class dismissed. Jiang Xiaofeng said, and left the auditorium with his notebook. In the auditorium, various discussions began to appear. What are you talking about? Do we need him to teach this? That's right. What's the importance of linear equations? You can easily learn this. It's just the basics. Even if the difficulty is increased several times, how difficult can it be? Don't argue for now. Do you still want the battle armor? I need to think about it now. A mecha designer interrupted their communication impatiently. Regarding the design of the battle armor, he seemed to have a new idea, but he couldn't grasp the inspiration. At the same time, another mecha designer fell into deep thought. He encountered some difficulties in the design of the battle armor, and the equation mentioned by Jiang Xiaofeng seemed to provide him with some new ideas. Do you want to go to the association in the afternoon? This idea suddenly popped up in their minds. Time soon came to the afternoon, and Jiang Xiaofeng was sitting in the association sorting out various materials. Guyu watched quietly on the side, and from time to time she would ask questions about some things she didn't understand. At this time, Jiang Xiaofeng would help her answer them. At this time, no one pushed open the door of the association. Jiang Xiaofeng looked up and saw a person he least expected. Yuan Yehui. Logically speaking, Yuan had a very high talent in cultivation, and he was not a designer, so he should not have come to this association. Contrary to what Jiang Xiaofeng thought, Yuan asked directly, "Can I join your association?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 Experiment on the Shrek Leaning Tower. It's possible. Jiang Xiaofeng hesitated for a moment, but as far as I know, your cultivation talent should be extremely strong. Will it be because of this? Yuan shook his head. Don't worry, I know my limits. Forget it, let her be. Jiang Xiaofeng sighed in his heart and handed Yuan a book. Yes, this is the entrance test. Do the questions in the first chapter, and you can pass the assessment. Yuan took the book from Jiang Xiaofeng's hand and saw that it said, 5 years of low-level exams, 3 years of simulations. The questions in the first chapter were not too difficult, and Yuan finished them quickly. Jiang Xiaofeng took a rough look and found all of them correct. Fill in this form. Jiang Xiaofeng handed Yuan a form and a textbook. This textbook was specially written by Jiang Xiaofeng, and the various knowledge points in it are very detailed. It can be said that anyone who can read can understand this book thoroughly. After Yuan finished filling out the form, Jiang Xiaofeng continued, "You can take some time to read this book. It can help you get started quickly. When you have studied it thoroughly, you can ask me to exchange it for another book. If you don't understand anything, you can come here to find me. I will be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon." Okay. Yuan nodded, took the textbook, and left the Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry Association. In fact, Yuan came here not out of pure curiosity. Although she believed on the surface that she would not become an evil soul master, deep in her heart, she still had a little worry. She had inquired about some information about Jiang Xiaofeng. With only a level 9 soul power, but relying on the self-made armor, he became the strongest of the first-year students. Not only that, he may even be the strongest of the entire outer courtyard students. However, this news was not entirely from her inquiries, and there were some speculations in it. On the surface, the strongest outer courtyard student was still the 6th-year senior. In short, Jiang Xiaofeng's strength is undoubtedly another way to become stronger. Although this road may not be suitable for her, perhaps it can be used as a backup plan. Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry courses were scheduled on Mondays and Wednesdays of each week, and the remaining 3 days were used to learn battle armor, practical combat and other knowledge. There were very few people who joined the Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry Association. In addition to Yuan there were only a few students who were more talented in mecha design. Some students who thought that equations were very simple realized the horror of equations as the course progressed. First, it was a linear equation with 2 variables, and then a quadratic equation with 1 variable. And the figures also gradually changed from squares, rectangles, etc. to circles, parallelograms, etc. The increasingly complex courses began to make some students complain. Many people complained that learning such things was useless. This voice stopped abruptly on the day when the chemistry class started. At that time, Jiang Xiaofeng smiled on the podium and took out a piece of spirit forging alloy and placed it on the table, and then took out a bottle similar to glass, which was filled with some colorless liquid. In the puzzled eyes of the crowd, Jiang Xiaofeng slowly dripped the liquid in the bottle onto the spirit forging alloy. Soon, the eyes of the students changed from confusion to surprise, and then from surprise to horror. In just a few seconds, their expressions changed several times in succession. As the colorless liquid slowly dripped onto the spirit forging alloy, a large amount of white smoke instantly appeared on the alloy on the table. The parts that came into contact with the liquid began to sink at a speed visible to the naked eye. The spirit forging alloy was corroded. There are indeed many acidic liquids on the Daolo continent, and many acids are also used in industry. But there has never been such a strongly corrosive acid. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and said, "What do you think? will happen if this acid is poured on your mecha or battle armor? Everyone shuddered. They couldn't help but think that their future selves were fighting in a two-character battle armor. Suddenly, the opponent poured this strong acid on his battle armor. If this really happened, his battle armor would definitely be corroded in large areas. It's a bit difficult to get started in chemistry. After all, this world is a little different from Jiang Xiaofeng's original world. Some things were common sense in the previous life, but they are just a fantasy in this world. Jiang Xiaofeng has put a lot of effort into this. The same is true for physics. Until now, many people still believe that heavy objects fall faster than light objects. Even if they have been told for a long time, they still don't believe it. In desperation, Jiang Xiaofeng had to do something similar to the Leaning Tower of Pisa experiment to convince them. Then, Jiang Xiaofeng became famous. With Jiang Xiaofeng's authorization and Shrek's promotion, a new text, The Experiment on the Leaning Tower of Shrek, appeared in the elementary school textbook. The text roughly describes that Jiang Xiaofeng is a student who loves thinking. One day, he suddenly had an idea. If two iron balls, one heavy and one light, are tied together, how will their falling speed change? According to inertial thinking, heavy objects fall faster than light ones. These two iron balls are one heavy and one light, and the light iron ball will definitely fall slower than the heavy iron ball. In this way, the falling speed, after being tied together, should be slightly slower than the heavy speed and slightly faster than the light speed, because the light speed slows down the heavy speed. However, the weight of the two iron balls tied together should be greater than the weight of any previous iron ball. In this way, the falling speed should be unprecedentedly fast. Isn't this a contradiction? With this idea in mind, Jiang Xiaofeng began to experiment. But he unexpectedly discovered that the falling speed did not change at all after being tied together. Not only that, the two iron balls, one light and one heavy, also fell at the same speed. So Jiang Xiaofeng concluded that the falling speed of an object has nothing to do with the mass of the object itself. After that, Jiang Xiaofeng naturally suffered all kinds of ridicule. Shrek Academy's research on various academic subjects is based on an inclusive mindset. In the end, an experiment on the Shrek Leaning Tower proved Jiang Xiaofeng's theory. The article only said that Jiang Xiaofeng loves to think, and the article did not reveal anything about other information. Jiang Xiaofeng's idea is that this way can make knowledge widely known. Shrek Academy took this opportunity to advertise again, and both sides did not suffer. At the same time, a new textbook called Mathematics began to appear in primary schools in some areas. Parents don't care about this, and they are eager for students to master more knowledge. But the primary school students themselves did not realize that this was the beginning of a nightmare. There is no need to worry that civilians will not be able to access this knowledge. Although the system on the Daolo continent is not very good, compulsory education still exists. Moreover, compared with Soul Masters, non-Soul Master students will be more likely to access this knowledge. Because Soul Masters mainly learn knowledge such as cultivation, only those who do not have soul power will focus on learning culture. Jiang Xiaofeng is particularly serious about the compilation of textbooks. After all, this involves the dissemination of knowledge, and the degree must be controlled. The current situation is not suitable for large-scale knowledge dissemination. After all, if the knowledge is spread too harshly, it may immediately affect the interests of the Soul Master class. If it really comes to this, then Jiang Xiaofeng will have only two choices. One is to directly confront the Soul Master class, the other is to compromise, and the dissemination of knowledge will become more difficult. Now Jiang Xiaofeng, no matter from which aspect, does not have the ability to directly confront the Soul Master class. Moreover, although there is no revolution without bloodshed, civilians want happiness, and they need to fight for it themselves. But if Jiang Xiaofeng is asked to lead this revolution, he always has a sense of guilt for causing a war with his own hands. Chapter 97 Memory. Large golden scales appeared on Tang Wulin's body, and the scales continued to spread to his shoulders. At the same time, the second golden soul ring began to rise slowly behind him. Jiang Xiaofeng was watching everything in front of him thoughtfully, and Yuan Enya, who was also stunned. Because of some butterfly effects, Tang Wulin did not unlock the fourth seal during the winter vacation. At the same time, He finally chose to let Jiang Xiaofeng help protect the law, and the location was chosen in the practice room of the Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry Association. In the process of so-called protection, but actually recording data, Yuan Yehu happened to come to the association to ask some mathematical questions, and then she smelled the fragrance of medicine in the room. Jiang Xiaofeng remembered that this medicine fragrance seemed to be a good thing, but it was useless to her, because Yuan Yehu was one of the few members of the association, and she was also the most diligent one to ask questions. After a while, she became familiar with everyone. As for why there are so few members in the association, the teacher asked you to go to the office to ask more questions when you have nothing to do. Will you go? In line with the principle of not wasting, Jiang Xiaofeng simply let Yuan Yehui stay here to absorb the medicinal fragrance. After all, he was not a stranger. After obtaining Jiang Xiaofeng's consent, Yuan Yehui naturally sat cross-legged immediately and began to absorb the medicinal fragrance diffused in the air. Looking at Yuan Yehui, whose body was constantly covered with dirt, Jiang Xiaofeng couldn't help but shout in her heart, "It appears the pores are spraying fesses." After a while, Yuan Yehui, who had absorbed the medicinal fragrance in the air, opened her eyes and felt sticky on her body, and then she saw the dirt on her body. She subconsciously looked at Jiang Xiaofeng's position and saw Jiang Xiaofeng sitting next to him and constantly typing on the computer. "Are you awake?" Jiang Xiaofeng said without turning his head. "Turn right when you go out. There is a bathroom in the association, and it was designed with your situation in mind." Yuan Yehui's face flushed slightly, but because Jiang Xiaofeng was concentrating on research, he did not see Yuan Yehui's face change. In fact, even if Jiang Xiaofeng turned her head, she couldn't see anything, because her face was covered with dirt, and she couldn't see anything. Soon, after washing and changing into new clothes, Yuan Yehu returned to the practice room. The clothes were in the storage bracelet that Yuan Yehu carried with her. As for why she carried clothes with her, Xiaozun might know. Yuan Yehu returned to the practice room and looked around, only to see Jiang Xiaofeng with his eyes closed, holding a strange handle in his hand. His whole body was emitting a gentle green light, which continued to flow along the line under the handle, passing through the intricate lines and devices, and finally merged into a long strip. She quietly watched this strange scene in front of her. The green light continued to merge into the long strip, and the long strip was also constantly emitting green light. Finally, the light dissipated, and Jiang Xiaofeng opened his eyes. "What is this?" Yuan Yehui asked, and then quickly added, "If you don't want to tell me, forget it. I won't tell you." "Jia memory," Jiang Xiaofeng said solemnly. There was no pattern on the memory, and the overall color was white. Jiang Xiaofeng removed the wire connected to the memory, inserted it into a groove, and then pressed a button. 28.7, 109.6, 32.3. These are the numbers displayed on the LCD. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it great? I'm a genius. Such a burst of laughter suddenly came from the Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry Association, and it could be heard even if you were standing outside the association. In the training room, Yuan Yehui looked at the lunatic in front of him with a confused face. He was holding the memory and laughing wildly, saying, "After the initial data is imported to complete the shaping, the Jia memory body can continue to strengthen itself according to the strengthening of the data source. The toxicity has dropped below the standard line. As long as it is used with the driver, it can exert its maximum performance without any side effects." At the same time, the power of Tang Wulin's fourth golden dragon king seal was almost completely absorbed. The scales began to extend to his shoulders, and a circle of golden spirit rings appeared behind him. Under Yuan Yehui's stunned gaze, the second circle of golden spirit rings began to slowly take shape. "What is this?" Yuan Yehui asked incoherently. Her worldview was overturned twice in just a few seconds. First, a person who looked so normal at ordinary times became a lunatic in an instant after completing the Jia memory. Then there was Tang Wulin's counterintuitive golden spirit ring. It is said to be a blood spirit ring. Jiang Xiaofeng explained. It is probably composed of hemoglobin, platelets, glucose and fat. Tang Wulin slowly opened his eyes, feeling the stronger power in his body than before. Tang Wulin couldn't help but smile confidently. Don't say it. Tang Wulin is still quite handsome, especially when he smiles. Even I can't help but stare at him for a while. How is it? Do you think you are good again? Jiang Xiaofeng smiled and teased. Tang Wulin chuckled, then looked at Yuanenyehu and greeted him. You are here too? Yuanenyehu hesitated, looked at Tang Wulin and said, thank you. Ah. Tang Wulin asked puzzledly, why are you thanking me? It's the medicinal fragrance you emit after taking drugs. Jiang Xiaofeng explained that medicinal fragrance also has very good medicinal power. It will be wasted if no one absorbs it. That thing is useless to me, and Yuanenyehu happened to be here, and then I let her practice here, and she has also gained a lot of benefits from it. Oh, I see. Tang Wulin nodded thoughtfully. Then should I charge some money? Let me calculate. Bye. Jiang Xiaofeng slapped Tang Wulin on the head without saying a word. Can you be a little more promising, or you may not be able to find a wife? Tang Wulin said with a look of grievance, but all this is money? Seeing Tang Wulin's stingy look, Yuanenyehu decisively extinguished the slight good impression that had just risen. Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head and handed the memory to Tang Wulin. Try injecting blood and qi here. I want to see if there is any difference from last time. Tang Wulin took the memory without hesitation and began to inject blood and qi into it. The memory gradually began to emit a golden light, but soon, the light dimmed. The data is incomplete, but it is better than last time. Jiang Xiaofeng quickly came to a conclusion. When your scales can cover your whole body, you should be able to fully activate this memory. Tang Wulin looked at the memory in his hand curiously and asked, what is the use of this thing? You will know when the time comes. Jiang Xiaofeng smiled slightly. In fact, being able to make this blank memory is almost the limit of Jiang Xiaofeng's current situation. If it weren't for Jiang Xiaofeng having Philip's data body, he couldn't even make this blank memory. You know, the core of the memory that can be developed is Philip. It is impossible to make a complete memory, at least now, because most of Daoluo's memories are blocked. And if the memory is to be activated, it requires a complete and extremely deep memory. Among all the people except Guyu, only Tang Wulin's Golden Dragon King bloodline can reach the minimum standard for activating the memory. Moreover, according to Jiang Xiaofeng's calculation, Tang Wulin must at least unlock the 9th Golden Dragon King seal to reach this standard. The development of the memory has been going on for some time, and the first few versions were directly destroyed by Jiang Xiaofeng because they were too toxic. Don't think that the research and development of the memory is a simple project. If it weren't for Jiang Xiaofeng's own data body, Jiang Xiaofeng might not be able to research it, even if he spent his whole life. And if someone else had the data body, Jiang Xiaofeng would have to study it for at least 10 years. But now, the person who owns the data body is Jiang Xiaofeng himself, and no one can understand his own data fluctuations better than him. Coupled with Jiang Xiaofeng's super brain and rich knowledge, this compressed the time to within 1 year. And if the memory of Daoluo continent is not completely unlocked, Jiang Xiaofeng can't even think about making a second memory. As for the driver, Jiang Xiaofeng still needs to study it for a while. Chapter 98 Tang San. In the end, Tang Wulin accepted the memory with a puzzled look on his face. Although he did not ask questions, Jiang Xiaofeng still read a sentence from Tang Wulin's eyes. Riddler, get out of Gotham. Speaking of which, it has been half a year since the start of this semester. It feels like time has passed so quickly. Every day I teach, do research, draw comics, etc. Half a year has passed unknowingly. Yuanenyehu did not give up the study of mathematics, physics and chemistry, although she has determined that, even if she spends her whole life studying, she can't make the technology system completely replace the Soul Master system. But it doesn't mean that these things are useless. Yuanenyehu also studied measure design. These Pythagorean theorem, pi, multivariate equations, coordinate axes, etc. seem to have opened the door to a new world for her. Many design problems are solved by these things. Moreover, many things learned in physics have brought new inspiration to Yuanenyehu. In short, Yuanenyehu's attainments in measure design are much higher than before. Class begins. Stand up hello, teacher. After the third class ended, Wu Changkang said solemnly, I have something to announce first.
Jiang Xiaofeng, Tang Wulin, Gu Yu, Wu Sido, Zhu Xiaoyan, Zizi, Zuliski, Yi Xinglan. Today is your last class. Prepare for a day tomorrow, and leave the day after tomorrow to participate in the exchange activities of Xingluo continent. I will lead the team, so today is my last class in the next year. The position of class monitor will be temporarily replaced by Luo Gixing, and the deputy class monitors are Yang Niangsha and Zhu Yacheng. Forging committee member Yang Niangsha, I am going to Xingluo Empire. Jiang Xiaofeng sighed in his heart. In the past 6 months, Jiang Xiaofeng has not only developed normally, but also written 2 books by himself. Not a novel, but a pure theory, Soul Master Theory in Future World. One is about the relationship between Soul Masters and ordinary people, and the other is about imagining the life of ordinary people in the future. Unfortunately, they were blocked before they were spread much, thanks to the fact that the federal network has just started and lacks control capabilities. In this case, some people still read these 2 books. Well, whether it can work is another matter. By the way, it seems that a lot of things happened during this trip to the Xingluo Empire. Apart from the competition, Jiang Xiaofeng didn't remember what happened specifically. After hesitating for a long time, Jiang Xiaofeng made a decision. The production of the dangerous trigger can be put on the agenda. Jiang Xiaofeng is still quite afraid of the dangerous trigger. The danger level is only 3.7, which means that Jiang Xiaofeng only has 10 seconds of sober fighting time. Once out of control, Jiang Xiaofeng will become the most terrifying person in Daoluo continent at this stage. There is only one way to deal with the loss of control. Make the connection between the trigger and the driver very loose, so that it will fall off as soon as it is pulled. Like other energy bottles, once inserted into the driver, it is almost impossible for anyone other than yourself to pull it out. As for hitting the belt and the like, to be honest, the driver is the strongest part of the entire night system. If someone can really destroy the belt with one blow, it would be easier to disintegrate yourself normally. Other night systems may not be like this, but the Chuanqi system designed by Jiang Xiaofeng is like this. Of course, for Mr. E, it doesn't matter where he hits, he can make others suffer. However, the production of the dangerous trigger can only be carried out on the cruise ship. Soon, it was night. Jiang Xiaofeng, who had uploaded the latest comic, couldn't fall asleep. After thinking about it, he simply got up and walked out of the dormitory, ready to walk around the campus. The night here is very beautiful, and you can see the sky full of stars when you look up. The starry sky is full of unknowns for everyone. Beautiful, but dangerous. The concept of the universe did not exist in the former Daoluo continent. Dishan once tried to fly to the sky continuously, but in the end, he was stopped by an invisible resistance, and could only see that the Daoluo continent was an irregular sphere. Because the God Realm still existed at that time, the Daoluo continent was still a subsidiary plane of the God Realm. Under the blockade of the God Realm, the concept of the universe did not exist in the Daoluo continent. It was just a world. And the so-called starry sky at that time was just a layer of projection. This method is not good or bad. The Daoluo world is blocked and cannot contact the real universe, which means that his upper limit is destined to be impossible. But at the same time, they will not encounter various dangers in the universe, because the God Realm is forced to block everything. Now, the God Realm has disappeared due to the turbulence of time and space, and Daoluo continent has finally come into contact with the real starry sky and the real universe. This is just like the country joining the WTO in the previous life, which is both a crisis and an opportunity. And now, Daoluo continent has ushered in a change, the abyss plane. To be honest, although Jiang Xiaofeng does not agree with what Tang San did, after all, this is a war that has lasted for thousands of years. But he also has to admit that Tang San's behavior also brought an opportunity to break the situation. Unknowingly, Jiang Xiaofeng has walked into the woods of Shrek Academy. Suddenly, Jiang Xiaofeng vaguely saw that there was a figure sitting cross-legged in the woods. Who is that? Jiang Xiaofeng walked over in confusion. I saw Tang Wulin sitting cross-legged in the woods, and invisibly, there was a constant flow of air converging towards Tang Wulin. It turned out that Tang Wulin was practicing here. Jiang Xiaofeng thought in his heart. Suddenly, Tang Wulin opened his eyes.
Instead of the usual black eyes, they were eyes emitting a blue-gold light. The boy's childishness disappeared without a trace, replaced by endless wisdom. P.S. Refer to delicious eyes, and the fool looks up at the sky. Jiang Xiaofeng's pupils shrank suddenly, and he took out the Chuan-Qi driver, and put it on his waist. Tang Wulin slowly raised his right hand, and a golden light shot out instantly. At this moment, Jiang Xiaofeng felt for the second time that death was so close to him. He instinctively rolled to the side, and just barely avoided the golden light. Rabbit tank sparkling turned the joystick, and the frame extends from the driver. Tang Wulin waved his hand again, and the golden light instantly changed direction and shot towards Jiang Xiaofeng again. But this time, the golden light seemed to encounter a restricted area, and stopped outside the frame. This is a golden spear, and the gold color keeps trembling in front of the gap in the frame, and it can never break through. If only this thing could exist forever. Jiang Xiaofeng sighed in his heart. Are you ready? Henshin suddenly opened the can. Rabbit tank sparkling, rabbit tank bubble form. Yeah, when Jiang Xiaofeng completed the transformation, a blue ocean appeared at Jiang Xiaofeng's feet, and the golden dragon spear returned to Tang Wulin's hand. Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang Wulin both stood steadily on the sea domain. The current situation is extremely awkward. The transmission position of the smoke gun is set in this area, and this area has been completely covered by the domain. Even if Jiang Xiaofeng uses the smoke gun to run away, he will eventually appear in the same place. If Jiang Xiaofeng guessed correctly, Tang Wulin should be controlled by Transcends consciousness now. And this domain should isolate the mental detection of most Shrek people. You are a variable outside the plan. Variables must be eliminated. Tangsen said lightly. At this time, a silver light flashed beside Jiang Xiaofeng, and Guyu appeared beside Jiang Xiaofeng with a solemn expression. Ever since Jiang Xiaofeng entered the Xingdao Great Forest without Guyu's knowledge, Guyu left a mark on Jiang Xiaofeng, so that he could be teleported instantly if there was any special situation. The magic dragon flew from nowhere, and the dragon energy bottle also appeared on the magic dragon. Get element power. Are you ready? Henshin, wake up. Silver dragon, get the elemental power of heaven and earth. Yeah, the two knights stood side by side in front of Tang San. Although it was 2 against 1, the two felt a huge pressure, far beyond any opponent they had faced before. P.S. Don't say that Tang Wulin's body restricted his combat power in this situation. When Tang Wulin only opened 3 seals, Tang San controlled Tang Wulin's body and killed the Soul Emperor in one blow. And now, Tang Wulin has opened 4 seals. I suddenly had an idea. How about letting Tang Wulin open a harem? After all, if he is alone, there may be a situation where the land is damaged. Chapter 99, War. Let's go. Jiang Xiaofeng rushed forward with the drill crusher in hand. Guyu waved his hand, and a large piece of ice condensed towards Tang San. Tang San stomped his right foot lightly, and all the ice stayed 1 meter away, unable to move forward. The golden dragon spear swept away Jiang Xiaofeng's drill crusher with an easy sweep, and then the golden dragon spear continued to stab into the air, detonating all the elemental balls that flew over. Jiang Xiaofeng's body began to be covered with red and blue bubbles, and he waved the drill crusher at Tang San frantically with a trail of after images. The golden dragon spear blocked left and right, blocking all of Jiang Xiaofeng's attacks without missing a single one. In the air, silver light kept flashing, and each flash represented a surprise attack by Guyu. However, even so, they still did not hurt Tang San at all. Soon, Tang San seemed to have had enough of this boring battle, and swung the golden dragon spear violently. The tip of the spear passed over Jiang Xiaofeng's chest armor, bringing up a large piece of sparks. After repelling Jiang Xiaofeng, Tang San thrust his spear behind him. As if it was calculated, at the moment the spear tip thrust forward, a silver light suddenly flashed in the empty space, and Guyu's figure appeared in front of the spear tip. At the moment the golden dragon spear thrust forward, it seemed as if thousands of people thrust a spear at Guyu's chest at the same time. Thousands of people pointed fingers at him. Guyu had no time to react at all, and with a muffled groan, his entire body flew backwards like a puppet with its strings cut. Guyu, nada. Jiang Xiaofeng shouted, and then pressed the button of the 4-grid ninja sword. Clone technique. As the sound effect ended, Jiang Xiaofeng dual wielded the drill crusher and the 4-grid ninja sword and rushed forward with 2 clones. Fire release technique. Ready go. The 4-grid ninja sword began to emit fierce flames, and the drill crusher also began to spin at high speed. Vortex break. Tangsen raised the golden dragon spear and gently blocked the 2 attacks from above. At this time, the 2 clones took the opportunity to slash at Tangsen's waist. Facing this seemingly fatal blow, Tangsen's golden dragon spear shook slightly and instantly swung away the 2 swords on the golden dragon spear. The long spear swung violently in all directions, sweeping up pieces of white clouds. White clouds floated in the sky for thousands of years. Combining physical and mental attacks, it can make people have the illusion that 1,000 years have passed. All the clones disappeared in an instant. At this moment, Jiang Xiaofeng almost had the illusion that he had died of old age. Fortunately, the mental resistance of the danger level 3.7 allowed him to recover quickly. Lying on the ground gasping for breath, Tangsen showed a surprised expression for the first time. Obviously, Jiang Xiaofeng could withstand the white clouds for thousands of years, which surprised him a little. With a light wave of his hand, countless golden lights gathered on him. What's going on? Yunming's angry voice came from the Sea God Pavilion. Why did the energy of the golden ancient tree suddenly drop? Yali closed her eyes and felt carefully. I don't know. I can't feel where the energy of the golden ancient tree has gone. What a troubled time. Yunming sighed. 4 years ago, a god-level strongman suddenly appeared, and now the energy of the golden ancient tree has suddenly dropped. What's going on? A large piece of golden light gathered on Tangsen, and the blue-silver grass in his hand slowly emerged. Under the influence of the golden light, the blue grass leaves began to change slowly, and its texture gradually began to turn golden. Is this the blue-silver emperor? Jiang Xiaofeng forced himself to stand up again, and saw that the martial spirit changed from blue-silver grass to blue-silver queen, and Tangsen's aura instantly became stronger. Countless blue-silver emperors instantly entangled and tied Jiang Xiaofeng's limbs tightly. Blue bubbles kept bursting, trying to blow up these blue-silver emperor vines. But the blue-silver emperor entangled Jiang Xiaofeng was shaking slightly, dissolving the power of the blue bubbles. You are a genius, Tangsen said lightly, but you have touched the forbidden zone. Jiang Xiaofeng sneered. You talk so high, but in the end, you are just a humble person. Tangsen did not answer, but slowly raised the golden dragon spear. It's over. It was still a calm tone, but under this calm tone, it contained infinite murderous intent. Suddenly, Tangsen seemed to have noticed something, and quickly dodged to the side, and a silver spear flew past Tangsen's head. The sharp tip of the spear instantly cut through the blue-silver emperor that was entangled with Jiang Xiaofeng, and after circling a circle, it flew back again. Jiang Xiaofeng, who lost his restraint, fell to the ground and barely looked up. A hand wrapped in silver armor caught the spear. Guyu supported his body with the silver dragon spear and limped over. No, hurt him, brother. Guyu and Nada's voices came from the mask together. You can actually stand up. Tangsen's face showed astonishment again. After being criticized by thousands of people, even if you are the Silver Dragon King, you should be half dead, right? Jiang Xiaofeng gritted his teeth and stood up from the ground. Of course. With difficulty, Jiang Xiaofeng's brain continued to feel dizzy, but Jiang Xiaofeng gritted his teeth and endured all of this. How could we lose to someone like you? Jiang Xiaofeng roared. Along with this roar, Jiang Xiaofeng's mind came a burst of clarity, dispelling all the previous dizziness. The swaying body finally stood firm at this moment. Tangsen looked at Jiang Xiaofeng and Guyu beside him in astonishment. How can you still stand up? Jiang Xiaofeng did not answer, but looked at Guyu and asked, do you still have the strength to fight? Guyu, Nada? Nonsense. Of course. 2 voices came out from the mask at the same time. The shaky body stood firm again, and the silver dragon spear played a gunflower in his hand, and a strong soul power wave came, causing waves on the sea surface in the domain. Keizoku Hasaya, Pirate's Carbo, Drill Crusher. The Pirate's Carbo and Drill Crusher were dual wielded, and they kept slashing at Tangsen with red and green energy. The golden dragon spear kept resisting the attacks of these 2 weapons, but this time, Tangsen no longer looked as relaxed as before. The most important thing was that Tang San's blue gold eyes began to turn red gold from time to time. Damn it, you better behave yourself. Tang San cursed secretly in his heart. Under the violent attack, Tang San had to keep retreating. What's going on? Why is your strength constantly increasing? Tang San's face no longer had the previous calmness. Suddenly, when Tang San wanted to continue retreating, he found that his feet could not move at all. He looked down and saw that the ice had frozen his legs firmly. Oh no, what time is this? Ready, go. The ghost energy bottle was inserted, and the drill crusher instantly became illusory. Vortex break. The illusory drill crusher passed through Tang San without causing any wounds. But Tang San kept screaming. Tang Wulin's body fell to the ground weakly, and in his place, there was a phantom of a blue-haired man. Jiang Xiaofeng pulled out the rabbit tank bubble can, and took out 2 blue energy bottles from behind. Card camera best match. Jiang Xiaofeng began to turn the joystick quickly. Are you ready? Build up decade. The glass frame suddenly merged, and Jiang Xiaofeng's armor also changed into the magenta decade armor. This is the legendary knight form that contains the power of decade. The law of victory has been decided. Jiang Xiaofeng began to turn the joystick again, and this time, it would be decade's finishing move. Ready, go. Ready, go. Between Jiang Xiaofeng and Tang San's shadows, 10 holographic card-shaped golden light walls appeared. The moment these 10 cards appeared, Tang San was shocked to find that he could not take any action at this time. Jiang Xiaofeng jumped high, and the 10 cards were constantly adjusting their positions along with Jiang Xiaofeng's movements. Vortex finish. Jiang Xiaofeng's right foot kicked out fiercely. As his figure passed through the cards one by one, the golden energy wrapped around his right foot became more and more. Finally, after 10 cards of increasing night kicks, they kicked Tang San hard. That's right, Tang San, who seemed illusory, was still hit by this dimensional night kick. Well, what's going on? Don't ask me why this pairing is 2 inorganic objects. This is the official legendary night pairing, and it is the same type as the game and Doctor in the movie. Chapter 100 Departure. Tang San's shadow slowly dissipated, and the entire area disappeared with it. Looking at Tang Wulin, who had fainted on the ground, Jiang Xiaofeng and Gu Yu lifted their transformations together. At the moment, when the armor dissipated, Jiang Xiaofeng felt his legs soften instantly, and half knelt on the ground. Gu Yu was startled, and quickly helped Jiang Xiaofeng up. Are you okay? Gu Yu looked at Jiang Xiaofeng worriedly. Although it was night, Gu Yu could still see several wounds on Jiang Xiaofeng's body. Are you seriously injured? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head gently. It's okay, just take a rest. Tang San's move, Bei Yun Kan's Akan Yu, was still very powerful. Both in terms of physical power and mental damage, it was far greater than the Kan Fu Zhi used on Gu Yu. So, even if the danger level was 3.7, no, it was now a danger level of 3.9. Jiang Xiaofeng, who had reached a danger level of 3.9, was slightly stronger than Gu Yu at this stage in terms of physical fitness, but after suffering a blow from Bei Yun Kanze, Jiang Xiaofeng was much more seriously injured than Gu Yu. In fact, the night system has a certain suppressive effect on injuries. Chicky and 01 have demonstrated this before. Because of maintaining the transformation state, I couldn't feel anything. Now with the release of the transformation, the burden of the injury is instantly reflected. Jiang Xiaofeng decisively took out the genius energy bottle and pressed it against his chest. The colorful light slowly flowed on his body, healing all the injuries on his body. Gu Yu. Jiang Xiaofeng handed the genius energy bottle to Gu Yu. Although the genius energy bottle at this stage cannot transform, it can still be used as a super high-end milk bottle. Gu Yu did not refuse. He took the energy bottle and pressed it on his body. The injuries on his body were instantly healed at this moment. What is the relationship between him and Tang San? Gu Yu, who had recovered from his injuries, couldn't help asking. Jiang Xiaofeng was silent for a moment and said, he is Tang San's son. What controlled his body just now was the consciousness that Tang San left in Tang Wulin. Then where did the Golden Dragon King bloodline in his body come from, and why did he appear here? Jiang Xiaofeng scratched his head. This question is more complicated to explain. Basically, before the Golden Dragon King died, he injected the essence of his power into the newly born Tang Wulin. For this reason, Tang San set 18 seals on him and put him in the human world. Gu Yu said with sudden enlightenment, so that's why I always felt that there was a familiar aura on him. By the way, has his consciousness been completely resolved? Jiang Xiaofeng shook his head, probably not. I didn't dare to use my full strength in that attack just now, otherwise it might hurt Tang Wulin's soul. In terms of souls, Chuanqi is not very good at it. So, Tang Wulin is in endless trouble now? Gu Yu asked. Speaking of which, Gu Yu had thought about whether to kill Tang Wulin directly and obtain his Golden Dragon King bloodline. At first, she didn't do it because she was worried about Jiang Xiaofeng's thoughts. Later, Gu Yu gradually no longer had any desire for the power of the Golden Dragon King. She was who she was, and the Silver Dragon King was the Silver Dragon King. There was no need to pursue the power of the Dragon God. Jiang Xiaofeng didn't confirm or deny, but said firmly, I'm afraid Tang Wulin already knows what happened just now. But I believe he will be able to overcome it all. After thinking about it, Jiang Xiaofeng also pressed the genius energy bottle on Tang Wulin. Forcibly using such a strong force should also be a huge burden for Tang Wulin. The colorful energy was slowly injected. No one noticed that there were a few strands of colorful energy that slowly entered Tang Wulin's sea of consciousness. This strand of energy did not stop, but continued to penetrate into Tang Wulin's sea of consciousness and came to layers of golden runes. These strands of energy slowly penetrated. After passing through 14 layers of runes, they came to a golden dragon wrapped in countless shackles. The golden dragon hit the runes in front of it crazily, but the runes remained motionless. The golden dragon became more and more crazy, and the red light in its eyes became stronger and stronger. Obviously, this dragon had already lost its mind, leaving only endless madness. Several strands of colorful energy gradually merged into the dragon's body. The red light in the dragon's eyes began to slowly dissipate, and it no longer struggled wildly like before. Suddenly, a few tears dripped from its eyes. It was crying and sad. Its madness was just to cover up its other side. And now, its madness dissipated under the effect of this colorful energy, and what was left was only endless loneliness and sadness. Okay, we are fine. Jiang Xiaofeng patted Tang Wulin on the shoulder and comforted him. Besides, if you hadn't tried your best to stop Tang San in the end, we might not have been able to beat him. A day had passed, and Tang Wulin was still in a very low mood. Even people who were not familiar with Tang Wulin could see the problem, not to mention that everyone here was familiar with him. Unlike before, Wu Sido replaced Le Zhenghai's position, and Yuan Enyahu still became an exchange student normally. Besides, it can be considered a blessing in disguise, isn't it? Let me do the math for you. First of all, my strength has increased a lot. The average soul Daoluo will be killed instantly in my hands. The same goes for Gu Yu. Although his soul power has not increased, his compatibility with the elemental power has improved a lot. Let's talk about yourself. The blue-silver grass awakened into the blue-silver emperor, which has an additional domain. You also have an exclusive weapon, the golden dragon spear. Oh, and those few gun techniques that appeared in your mind. Neither the Tang sect nor Shrek has this stuff. And there are all kinds of exclusive medicinal formulas. Just think about it, if you sell these, how much money can you make? I hope he comes a few more times. Look, so many equipments have exploded at once. If he comes a few more times, won't we be invincible in minutes? At this point, Tang Wulin finally couldn't help laughing. How is this like playing a game? That makes sense. Jiang Xiaofeng said seriously, this Tang San might be our advanced boss. Every time we need to advance, he will appear. After killing him, we can get so many equipment. Tang Wulin smiled, and then his mood became depressed again. But, I'm worried whether I will hurt you. Tang San is my biological father, so I don't feel anything. I only know that my father is Tang Ziran and my mother is Lang Yu. Don't worry, if he appears next time, I will definitely beat him to tears. Besides, if you become super powerful, stronger than Tang San, how can he control you again? Yeah. Tang Wulin nodded. Let's go. We have to get on the ship. Since Tang San's phantom was defeated that day, the consciousness of old Tang has never appeared in Tang Wulin's sea of consciousness. At the same time, Tang Wulin's mind has a lot of knowledge that does not belong to him. This makes him not have to worry about what kind of natural treasures he will need to unlock the seal in the future. Everything seemed as if old Tang's consciousness had really disappeared, but Jiang Xiaofeng and Gu Yu still had a strong sense of vigilance in their hearts. Therefore, Jiang Xiaofeng had to prepare something. This is a super luxurious cruise ship, claiming to be unsinkable. Under the command of the staff, they entered their rooms one by one. Tang Wulin sat in his room thinking quietly, and suddenly, his door was knocked. He opened the door curiously, and saw Jiang Xiaofeng coming over with a laptop. "Come on, I got you something nice. It won't be an H movie or something like that. I don't watch these," Tang Wulin said with disgust. He was a serious gentleman. How could he watch this? "What are you thinking about? This is something I finally made, and I found it specifically for you to see." As he said, Jiang Xiaofeng turned on the computer. "What is this? Ultraman Jeed. You know nothing, you know nothing, you know nothing, jump Jeed." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.